Sorry, guys. We was trying to run over on the StreamYard time there because Michael and I were talking about something we'll be talking about here in just a few minutes. I want to welcome everyone to the Centralist. Jay's off tonight. We're also going to be bringing in some new hosts and some people for auditions. I've been talking to a few people lately. We've been looking for a female political host that can, get involved and know their politics and have an opinion and not be scared to state their opinion. That's the most important thing. Is you have to be willing to stand up for yourself and stand up for what you're doing and do proper research to know what politics you're talking about, if it's real or not. That's an important thing. But there's a couple people I've been talking to. There's one lady in particular I haven't had a chance to talk to this week, but I'd like to talk to her as well. And if you're interested, you can always write to me at iCarCox.net. No, whoever wrote that is not a paying job, not unless the show gets syndicated, and then it might be a paying job. But right now, we're just trying to put this show where news on the flip side was 7 years ago. It was syndicated. It was easily making money. It's just now, this one needs to be where that one was. So that's what we're working on right now. And don't forget, coming up in, what are we talking about here? 16, 17, 18, 26 days is the election. So we will be right here on election night. And we will be heating things up for everybody to see. We will have our polls up. We'll have our polls from we'll have a polls from the polling stations. Everybody have the stuff up. We'll be tracking across the country with as many hosts as we can get involved. And y'all should all be here. We really want to see how this election is going to turn out. It's an important election for a lot of people. For me personally, it's not going to probably make as much difference because of where I live. But for a lot of other people, especially my friends that live up north or out west, it's going to make a big impact on y'all's lives, whether it goes red or blue. So just keep that in mind. And I get to go out and if it goes blue and you're paying twice as much as you were, just like I warned y'all in the last election. If you went blue, it was going to double or triple the prices, and in food, it's tripled the prices. So it's the problem. I think sometimes is the parties get too old. So the Republican Party for a while there was an ancient party. Everybody was like 70. But now the average age of the Republican Party has dropped considerably. It's in the 50s, whereas for the Democrats, it's in the high 60s to low 70s. So they're back in that same thing. They're all rich and they got their stuff. So nothing really affects them like it affects us. So you have to clean the parties out from time to time so that they at least think about us from time to time. So I think that's where we are in this particular political environment. But so Mike and I want to open with, what the hell is Elon Musk up to? Why does he want to pull Starlink from the Ukraine? Mike, what do you think, man? I mean, what the hell is this about? I mean,
I think Elon likes to manage. You know what? The only thing
I
these
think he
guys
likes to be in the
have,
shit of things. I agree with that.
the only thing these guys have, once they're billionaires, once they have all the stuff, the best land, all the houses, the yachts, is deals, making the deal. Like Trump is a great deal maker. He wrote a book, The Art of the Deal, and that's I've read it. I mean, it's actually a pretty short book, but yeah, I think that's what he wants to do, and he wants to look like the good guy too. He wants to be Dennis Rodman without the black, the height, and the tattoos and the piercing.
Hey, you never know. He might have some tattoos somewhere. It's. I mean, we don't really know what's going on there, but I caught a piece of the article earlier, and I got to pull it up now so we can see it. But why? I mean, what is it? What did Dazinski go on television and say? Elon Musk is not a man. I mean, it's got to be something that offended the dude. I mean, and he doesn't look like he's too easily offended. He likes to fight, and they're like he's got into it. Xi Jinping threatened his life, right? You heard that the other day.
But the
And,
problem, the problem with people in power, is that they think that their opinion is so powerful because they're powerful people. It is with some, but in the real world, when you're a Ukrainian living in the Ukraine, fighting for your life, things are a lot different than sitting in your mansion looking at it on TV and saying this is what they should do and being the armchair quarterback. If he offered to help, then help. If you want to pull the help out, then pull the help out. But none of this half-ass stuff, none of this back and forth, and he's trying to micromanage them because now they're having trouble on the front with Starlink.
actually, no, he just came up. He just came up and was being honest finally. So he said Elon Musk pulled Starlink satellite from Ukraine due to cost. It's considerable, and he's got a few of them over there. He said he's gonna have to pull more than that one unless the U.S. wants to pick up the cost for the satellite. So
The U.S.
what's
have been
happened
paying.
here is,
The U.S. taxpayers have been paying, by the
well,
way.
no, he says they haven't been. He says they're not
Well,
paying at all.
that's that. Then there's a difference of opinions.
Yeah, well, you either get the money or don't. I mean, he's saying they're not paying him, And you know what? Just recently, there's been a couple of things going on while we're on this. So the other day, I catch an article. Actually, I catch a live TV glimpse of this guy out west. He's covering up all of the charging stations with plastic bags. And the lady's like, "What? They don't work?" He said, "No, they work fine." But Elon Musk, he said, "Actually, Starlink hasn't paid me in 6 months." And then Starlink was complaining that some of the power stations weren't paying with the share they were supposed to be paying. So it sounds like there's a shitstorm going on. Nobody knows where the money is going. Is what it sounds like. And
Where's the money?
Elon's out there running his mouth. So Elon needs to get over there. I guess he's not the CEO of that company, but he needs to get hold of the CEO and say, "What the is going on here, people? You need to straighten this shit out."
If he
Um,
wants to stay out, then stay out. You know what I mean? It really is. Then it comes down to intelligence and what they have on the front. It seems like the Ukrainians are. I mean, every day they make advances and they're blown. You know what? The October November 7th is the October Revolution. Date for Soviet Union when the Soviet Union came about, right back in the day. So they're gonna have a big parade and all that stuff. They can't even get tanks for their parades. They have lack of troops, lack of tanks, and it's going to be a very bizarre scene. They might even call it off, but Putin's ego is just completely out of
well,
control.
but you know what? I seen NATO's inventory schedule for his missiles. He's got a lot of missiles. See, he should have started this way. He screwed up. If he decided out there for 6 months just bombing the crap out of all the cities with missiles, there might not be a war going
The
on.
the
They
whole
might
thing
have
is
said
weird. You have to admit that the whole thing
it
is
is weird. I mean, I've never seen a war fought this way. I mean, all
yeah,
he had to do
very
is
very
repeat what the
backwards.
U.S. did in Desert Storm. I mean, just take air superiority, bomb with the missiles, send your planes in, bomb them some more, but make it where they can't even set up ground troops.
It's
And
almost like when you get
anytime you
into a
see
fight
one,
with
blow them up.
someone, you get into a fight with someone, and then you kind of underhit the person. You know what I mean? Like because you thought they were going to go down or something like that. Something weird, and the
Well,
Ukrainians fought back. I don't think
um,
that. I think that they gravely underestimated the power of NATO and the power of the Ukraine. Really,
they may have, but I listened to that admiral and that general that's retired living in the Ukraine, and they're saying that, judging from what they've seen, it looks more or less like Putin's just trying to get rid of some dead weight in the military, both with equipment and personnel.
I don't
He
know,
said
man.
he said
They're
he hasn't
saying
called in. He said he has not called in the active military yet, the real
they're
military.
they're saying that they're depleted, that they lied about their numbers and all that. So I don't know. They used to have all those countries, the Soviet Union. Like they had millions and millions of soldiers, and now
But they
you
still
know
have $1 trillion a year economy, so they can produce a decent sized military with that. They
the
could
the only
spend 200,
problem
300.
is for the missiles they need microchips, and now the microchips are being controlled by Taiwan, and Taiwan is like not really wanting to deal with
Yeah, but
Russia
these are
because it's
missiles
not.
they've already got. These are missiles that in
Yeah, they
stock.
don't
So
have that many left. They just used a whole bunch. So
no,
it's
NATO
it.
NATO
We'll
says they
we'll
have.
see what happens. We'll see what happens. I
Yeah,
mean,
because NATO says currently they have close to 75,000 missiles in stock.
I
So
think Putin's losing on all fronts, and now he wants to back off to try to regroup. And the new soldiers he put in the field, they don't even have food. They have no food. They whatever. They're coming upon winter, and winter's nasty there. Winter ain't like Louisiana in the
oh
winter
no, it's going to get
in the
cold there.
Ukraine. Right now it's mud season, the rain and mud. So they're digging in. But man, every day they blow up
But
these
for
clusters of
every
tanks, explosives, and they cut off bridges, and they're doing all this. They backed them up to the river. It's kind of cool because it was a little quiet for a minute there, and they had to get their ratings up, man. So, but also, did you see Macron? Now Macron is saying it's acceptable if they get nuked. That that France wouldn't respond with nuclear missiles or anything like that if they use
I
tactical
told you
nukes.
that last week. Europe didn't. The only person that's going to respond will be Britain because they're no
With
longer
but
part of the
this
EU.
is but this is important because within NATO, there's a fraction going on led by France and a whole bunch of other little countries that you don't even think about.
That's
That
not so much NATO as that's the EU. NATO.
I'm saying this is within NATO
Yeah, but
and the
NATO,
EU
they
and the
need
EU,
NATO,
but
and he knows that. Anybody who's in NATO knows it. This proves it right now. What Russia's doing right now proves to a little country, more than likely he'd have rolled over your ass, just like he did in Georgia, just like he did in Crimea. You just don't know how these are going to play out, and this really looks like just bad leadership to me. They had plenty enough
yeah, but
equipment and plenty enough men to take even Kiev. They just didn't do it.
Georgia and Crimea didn't have the U.S. and other countries backing them with just actually just our crap that we're trying to get rid of to replace our stock. Think about it. I
That's what
mean,
we're
this is
doing.
kind of a clearance sale. You know what I mean?
That's what we're
Liquidation
doing.
sale. It's a liquidation sale.
We're getting rid of the backlog shit that we're not going to ever use because we have better equipment now. This is stuff that would not get put in the war unless we actually needed it.
They got
And
Poland running drills of all kinds, and
well,
having war games. Now there's war games.
somebody about 8 years ago, we gave them a bunch of F-14s, retired F-14s,
Uh,
and they want to send them to the Ukraine now. And they're like, no, that's still our planes. You can't send them to the Ukraine.
you really can't, because the pilots have to be retrained, and you're on aircraft carrier. You know how it goes. There's a very technical stuff. Pilots takes years to train.
Actually, you want
A
to know what
pilot.
the hardest part is for the pilots right now is to translate. They don't know. They can tell you they'll recognize some instruments because they're on all planes because you need them. But a lot of things you're not going to recognize, and they're not going to be on your plane where they're on this plane. And then we have other things that they don't have. Certain things you'll know, like your altimeter, your level, your aileron, your ejection seat. You'll see all of that's clear. You'll be able to know what that is. But everything else, you won't know what the hell it is. So you'll have to have somebody translating and putting stickers on it, and
Big buttons, stickers.
it's just. Well, they found them with that GPS strap to the damn wing. I mean, the frame inside the frame of the plane so they could have GPS. I mean, that's just crazy. That shit's incorporated in every plane we got since, I don't know, like 80. No, probably about 88, but still. I mean, it's
They're
just
doing
standard
pretty good.
equipment in our planes.
I watched them today blow up a whole bunch of ammo depots that Russia had. Russians are running, and as they're running, they're taking their stuff and using it and whatever.
Well, the
Kind of
Russians.
interesting.
Yep. Well, some of the Russians are running. Some of the Russians are bombing them into the Stone Age. The problem for the Ukraine at this point is, if Russia spends another 2 months just bombing them into the winter, they're screwed.
Well, they're shooting cruise missiles. As I'm watching this stuff, and I find very interesting that to kill a lot of people, you can't just use a cruise missile. Cruise missiles are for strikes, one military target, this type of target, right? But apartment buildings and blocks of stuff and dense population, that you need an awful lot of them. So I mean, you remember Kosovo, right? And Bill Clinton was president. Clinton didn't want to send troops in there, when Milosevic was going crazy, killing everybody. Instead, they sat out there, the Navy ships, and shot cruise missiles all day and all night at them, until they had to give up. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. That's what we did to Desert Storm. We just kept bombing them in the Stone Age. And that's what Russia should have done from way one. Russia's got something like 8 or 10 million pieces of artillery. They could have just sat there. They could have, because this was ignorant. Whoever decided to do this, Putin wasn't even paying attention for the first 6 months. He must have been off on getting his chemo meds because he wasn't even paying attention, because I can't even believe they allowed this shit to go on. Why did we did all wars you start out, you want air superiority. Russia still does not have air superiority. And
apparently
they should.
The generals, a lot of them that got blown away,
10 of them
wanted to know why they didn't attack Kiev more thoroughly with cruise missiles and just kind of smash the place down.
Well, Kiev, I understand. I understand Kiev because the amount of people live there, and the Western world might get upset. But
it's a war. We are upset. I mean,
yeah, but upset enough to get involved.
It's interesting.
The smaller
to me,
cities, the U.S. is not going to get involved.
As I watch these people, there are limitations, and there are red lines, and it's interesting that Putin's even holding. He didn't go all out. He's not releasing all the stuff. He hasn't done a lot of the stuff that I would probably do in that type of situation. Scary to say to my neighbors, whatever. You know what I mean? But it's strategy, and you want to just win and neutralize.
Yeah, you ever see the movie Dune, when the guy stops all production of the spice and everybody comes looking for him and everybody wants to be his friends now? Well, it's the same thing here. If Russia would have just stopped all the grain and held the grain and said, look, we have no problem releasing it to you, but we want these concessions, and we want Lizinski out of office. If not, you can screw yourself. We're not going to release it, and there's nothing y'all can do about it because we have 5,000 nukes sitting in our backyard. And he's right. And we would have had to make concessions, but instead he went the other route, which makes no sense. The fact that we can see how many planes he has because we pass over his country all the time. And we try, we can keep track of a lot of what he's got plenty enough planes to keep air superiority over a country the size of the Ukraine.
But pilots, they said pilots.
Nah, he could bring in his air force. He could, you know what? He's got 2 aircraft carriers. He could bring those pilots in. They'd be plenty good enough
I
to
don't know
fly.
what they're doing. I don't know how they're managing things. I just know that
I
they're
don't know
losing.
why he don't come park one of them damn aircraft. He is right there by the Black Sea
I mean, they're
and
losing.
start launching from there.
And then now the whole world's against them, except for a handful of countries that are like Georgia and whatever, and was that the one to
Putin, I
North
come for
Belarus?
you, brother. I'm
You can
sorry.
stick that right up his kazoo, turn it on,
You know
man.
what?
Light
I
him up,
don't know. This
light him up
whole
like one of those bug zappers.
if there's something else going on here because Putin's not this stupid to start off with. This whole war is just ill conceived, piss poor put together.
It's very weird, man. You know what? It's very weird, not real. It's real for them, yeah. The people dying and
Well,
fighting,
look, he went
but
to the
it's
Middle
very
East.
weird. The whole thing
He
is
went to
weird.
the Middle East and showed that he can use cruise missiles and not just artillery. They were very good at it. Not quite as good as we were, but they were really good at it. They're not using that kind of equipment here, and they have them. They're just not using them. They got submarines full of the damn things, or they don't want us to find out that they don't. That could be one of the
I
bitch
don't know.
parts.
I'll tell you right now, there's betrayals going on, there's secret stuff going on, there's bad stuff going on. I wouldn't trust anybody and anybody in
So
this situation.
I figure you'll see a low yield tactical nuke on a strategic city, one that Russia, right now Russia's emptying out one of them. They're taking all the
Joe, don't
residents
don't
out.
say Newark, New Jersey, because they don't need it there. Although you probably wouldn't be able to tell if you did use a tactical nuke on
But no,
Newark.
but today or yesterday he started taking all the residents out of one of the cities. I forgot the name of it. I have to go look for it, but he started taking them all out. So he could use that as a target. There's nobody there. If he empties it out, he could use it and say, "Look."
The two, well, you were the ones here in the United
So let me
States
ask
you're
you:
talking about.
if you were Lazinski and he just dropped a nuke on your territory, would you surrender or would you say screw you?
You know, how bad can it get if it gets to that point? I mean, is there a surrender after that? I mean, is there a forgiveness even after that? And I guess
So
surrender is it if the
let
guy
me
dies.
re-reference that question. Let me say he dropped it on the city, wiped it flat to the ground. And he said, "If you don't surrender within X amount of days, Kiev's next. Would you surrender?"
Uh, Me personally, if I was like Ukrainian and if I was the head of Ukraine at this point, I think that it's just gone too far.
So
It's gone too
sacrifice
far.
Kiev for ego?
Is that a sacrifice? It's already done. Once you
No,
start
Kiev's
using
still
that
an
thing,
intact
it's
city and it's
already
got
done.
people in it.
Yeah, but I'm
Uh,
saying once they use the nuke, it's already done. It's
but
already
no, if
done.
they use
And
a nuke in an abandoned city, just as an example, it's not already done. If they
but
use
the
it in Kiev,
radiation,
it is.
the radiation is still going to travel. You
Tactical
know,
nukes aren't that big of a deal.
Oh yeah, they
They
are.
can deal.
The
No, they
radiation
can
is still
deal with
going
it.
to travel,
You're
but
talking half a
the reality
kiloton.
is this is the deal. If they pull the trigger, it's gonna cause a national and international reaction all over,
It
man.
is.
And then Russia, Putin himself, he's got a lot of
But
problems.
again, do
His
you
own
think?
people in Russia don't want him in there, and there's more dissent. These
Well, we
oligarchs.
already know the West
They're
isn't going to go to war over half a kiloton nuke on some
but the
shithole city.
oligarchs, they're the ones who if they want him gone, he could be gone. So it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
Later, but in a matter of time, he can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, definitely. He already has done. For
Because
sure.
somebody the other day on his own television was talking about, well, why didn't he just mobilize the military, which he hasn't done yet? He could do that, and I don't think I hate to say it, Lazinski. I think if Russia does its full military, you're screwed, my friend. I don't think you can stop them. They've got at least 3 million men in waiting, so I don't know if you could stop them.
You got to get them in there, and they've destroyed their supply chains. They've destroyed the roads. The
They're probably down to
Ukrainians
about a
are,
million now, aren't they?
taking back. They even blew up that damn bridge. Putin's so pissed off about that. I mean, blowing up that bridge. He was pissed off. They did
Yeah,
it when that
well,
train was going over that was full of oil and that thing burned. That was a strategic strike. I mean, you have to give them credit for
and
something like
what's really sad about that. In the United States military, it wouldn't even been a thing. Would have came, brought one of them bridge layers out, laid right over, kept on going.
that. Oh
Wouldn't even
yeah,
slowed us down, man.
right.
Uh,
It would be like just flying over, boom.
yeah.
Oh, I
Well, because
love
the
it.
U.S. military set up for that. That's what the Seabees are for, man. We don't let that kind of shit
I
stop
was in a
us.
museum not long ago, and they have a Norden bomb site. Remember, so back in World War II, that was like the big. In fact, they were supposed to destroy them if their planes got shot down because it was such a secret. The Germans wanted this Norden bomb site because it was so accurate, and that's kind of what we do. We can put the ordnance where we want, right?
So
But
here, I'll give you the Ukraine's break. I mean, the Russians' breakdown. So currently, they have 850,000 active troops. 850,000. So if they wanted to take, see, that's what I don't understand. If they really wanted to take it, they could. These are actually the numbers that we know about, as our military knows about. They have 12,420 tanks, 30,120 armored vehicles, 4,173 total aircraft, 772 fighter jets, 544 attack helicopters, 605 naval vessels, 11 frigates, and 15 destroyers. It's there isn't a war here. I'm confused.
I don't know. I hear a lot of those troops are like, background personnel, that type of thing. Maybe
Well, a lot of
maybe
them are. A lot
fighting,
of them are going to be. A
not
lot of them
not
are
the
going to be.
soldiers. A lot of dead
No, oh,
weight.
no, 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 no. So anybody who's in the military is a soldier.
And
That's first
Russia's
and foremost.
huge. They have a lot of bases. They're big. I mean, they would have to call in all those people.
They would have to call
Also,
them all in.
so mobilization. You have to get the equipment there. The Ukrainians, of course, have amazing
With
equipment. They got
500
missiles or
attack
whatever.
helicopters, you could just space them bitches out about every
But the Ukrainians
quarter
shot
mile and
down.
just let it
They shot
roll.
down four of them the other day, like
Yeah, but that's
yesterday,
not when
within
500 of them
20
coming for
minutes.
you. 500 of them coming for you. If they even see something light up, they're going to demolish you. You're going to be
Well,
just
now
dust.
they want the Patriots, man. They're asking for that because of the cruise missiles and all
See, I don't
that.
know if we'll give. I don't know if we'll give them the Patriots. That's for nuclear defense
Germany's
or
Germany's considered,
ballistic
well.
defense.
Israel has it. They said really the problem is because the border is so gigantic that you would need a lot of those units. Israel is the size of New Jersey. Ukraine
Okay.
is huge.
So wait. Here is Ukraine's not got that bad of an army. They got 200,000 active personnel.
They got
Uh,
40 million people live there. 40 million.
yeah. So yeah, about half them probably done left by now, but
Mm.
they got 200,000 active personnel. They got 2,500 tanks and 12,000 armored vehicles. 300 aircraft. They got 69 fighter jets, so they're a little overmatched. And they got 34 helicopters and 38 naval vessels.
They
So
lost the fighter jet earlier to one of those Iranian drones.
yeah,
Smashed into it.
it's
Like a kamikaze drone.
it's I don't know. They're gonna have to step up something. Somebody. The problem is, okay, while we're on this, let's switch to a little different part of the world. So Kim Jong Un is losing his good mind, is what he's doing. He's dropping missiles.
Kim Jong Un.
Yeah, he's dropping missiles all over the place.
Oh yeah.
He's making South Korea really nervous at this point.
Oh yeah. But then
But yeah,
South Korea goes to launch a missile and it blows up on blows up and rains down on the city they launched it. That was the guy must have laughed his ass off on that one.
they I know. So, but this shows you the difference between leadership in the United States. Kim Jong Un, after Trump threatened to send a submarine over there and bomb him into the Stone Age, he quit launching missiles.
Yeah.
He just quit. Matter of fact, he got so scary wary that he let his sister take over because he thought he was going to be assassinated.
I know he went into hiding.
So yeah, because he's Trump scared him, and good Trump should. Putin would not have launched this attack into the Ukraine with Trump as president. So it's not so much that you have Trump. So like a DeSantis kind of person, they're not going to challenge DeSantis because he's screaming right now in Florida. Why didn't y'all give that son of a bitch the death sentence, the one who shot up the school? Because he's all over him. He said, "Why don't you give him?" He's having fits about it. So you don't want to piss someone off like this when they're president.
What,
when
DeSantis,
they've got big military behind it.
What I see about the guy, and like I said, I used to not really like him. I didn't really know him, and then when I saw him out there, I was like, But he's a good leader. I think that he, especially in hurricanes, disasters, he's proven himself. He's good to his wife. He loves her. She got cancer and all that. He's taking care of stuff, man. And I think that, you know what? I think he's a well-rounded person, and I also, I think he has a zero tolerance.
I mean, he's an asshole like every other
zero.
politician.
I think he has a zero tolerance for BS. But I would love to see DeSantis with Tulsi Gabbard on a ticket. Oh my God,
that would be an interesting ticket, and that would probably be a ticket that could work.
Made in heaven, man. Look at that.
That could be a ticket that could work.
And she's not like that idiot Kamala Harris. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard's an intelligent, well-spoken, well-traveled. She was a soldier. I mean, and she got rid of the Democratic Party. She said that they don't support the Republic. You know what I mean? The Democrats want to control
only support
everything.
themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I like it. I love it. I'm happy.
Uh,
Happy with her. Happy to be married to Tulsi Gabbard. Thank you.
to Janice who just
In
wrote
my
in,
dreams.
we're gonna get to the polls probably closer to the top of the hour, but I'll tell you this much: most of the ones I'm seeing right now, pretty much, or the red nudging out the blue consistently.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, we'll be here November 8th. We will be ranting, raving, bitching, screaming. Oh, I can't believe it. You know, well, it's like the last election, presidential election. When we went to bed, Trump was killing him. I mean, there was no, it didn't even look like there was going to be a chance. And then, of course, when I got up, Joe Biden had won the election
Because they found secret ballots on the
by
table,
a considerable amount of
apparently.
votes too. I was like, wow. Well, it was places like that, places in New Jersey and well, in Pittsburgh and all, where when I went to bed, 98% of the precinct had reported in. And then all of a sudden, Biden gained like a million votes or 700,000 votes overnight with only 2% of the precincts left. That's impossible. But, it's one of them things you have to deal with.
Yeah.
I blame Trump for it. People all the time like, well, if you cheated, you should be mad. No, not really, because Trump said for 2 years he thought they were going to cheat their asses off. Well, he thought that he should have put something a plan in place so they couldn't.
Right.
So cheated or not cheated, it's up to you. And personally, I don't think there was that much cheating anyway. There's always going to be some cheating in elections if they can get away with it, like people voting in 6 or 8 places, and with these drop-in mail-in ballots things, it's a little dangerous, because you can just drop in a bunch of stuff. But voting's going to change the United States. You will start to see. I think 30% of America already requires IDs, and you're going to see more and more and more of that come into play, especially as you see politicians like Gavin Newsom get in office and other people that are in there. What do you mean about Stacey Abrams? Last I checked, she was losing. She was losing pretty good. Yeah, I don't think she's going to be governor of Georgia. She had a chance in the beginning, but for some reason, there's some stuff's come out about her. Her numbers have been sliding. Well, if you go to NBC, yeah, they say she's going to win like with a landslide, but that's not true. That's not where the real numbers are right now. Well, in the beginning, see, this is what's so weird. So just 8 weeks ago, the Republicans were killing the Democrats in the House and never had a chance in the Senate. As of 3 weeks ago, it looked like the blue was catching up, may have even been able to hold the House, but it looked like they were going to lose the Senate. As of now, it looks like the Republicans are going to still win the House with a fair majority and maybe even take a Senate seat or two. There's been some races that have kind of swung the other way for some reason. So all we can do is wait and see until election night, and we'll know. One thing I know about elections, it's freaking crazy. Half the time you're like, where the hell did that come from? And then different precincts poll in, the numbers jump around. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of nerve wracking. Be a lot of coffee, maybe some vodka, maybe some scotch, maybe some bourbon. I don't know.
I have an important announcement. Jay
Yeah.
McNicholas said that he might be in for the last half of the show.
That's great. We love Jay. Jay is one of the co-hosts on the network that come hang out with us.
He's our fetus attorney.
That's right. He is our fetus attorney. So do not mess with him.
I don't know. He's kind of,
okay.
you know what he is? He's the marshmallow between us. I love it, man. You know what I mean? He holds us together as the cookie that we are.
So Isa rewrites in. Where are you writing in from? Portland, Oregon. Isa writes in from Portland, Oregon, and says all abortion should be legal, no matter what, from the time you know you're pregnant and until the time of the birth.
Communist Oregon.
One of the things that bothers me about abortion is look, I'm not a woman, so I'm not going out looking for one. And whether you believe in God or not,
you can be a woman, though. You know that.
Well, you
right?
can. You can. Whether you believe in God or not, that's something you have to deal with. Yeah. My problem is the fact that we murdered 55 million babies. That's my problem. So this is how I feel about this. Is
the Holocaust.
I do believe, it should be a woman's choice. I don't think birth control. I don't think abortion should be used as birth control. But I do believe it is a woman's right to choose. But I do think that it needs to be monitored much closely than it is right now, because there's no way we should be at the amount of babies that are dead that are. My problem is, Mike, is who did we kill? Did we kill the axe murderer? Okay. Did we kill the next Jeffrey Dahmer? Okay. The next Hitler? Okay. But what if it's the next Einstein? What if it's the next freaking Elon Musk? What if it's the next? I mean, the problem here is we just don't know who we're killing. These could be the people who were going to cure cancer that are now gone. This is the problem here. Plus, the United States is at a neutral growth. In case you don't know what that is many people is dying or is being born, which means we need to up it. More children need to be born in the United States, or we're going to start falling behind in the world.
Well, let me ask you this. What about the rights of the baby? And I've gotten into this discussion of I had people, heavy liberals, not liberals, people saying to me, if it's not a baby, it's not born yet, and whatever. And I say it like this, but you are denying it life. You are stopping the process. Baby or not makes no difference. It's something that's going to be born unless something happens, and you're doing it on purpose. But
Well,
now you and I are in the paranormal world, and we talk about a lot of energy related subjects. Those energies are still there. Those energies, even John, what's his name? Oh man, the psychic John Edwards.
yeah,
He
I know.
he even says that those energies. He was talking to a woman who had multiple abortions, and he's like, those energies are still there. They're still in that realm. I don't know, man. It just, if you don't need to
Well,
do it, you shouldn't do it. It's become a
first
birth.
off,
It's become birth
what's
control for a
it
lot of
is,
women.
and that's the point. What is the limit? Okay, so rape, molestation, baby bad defects. Okay, that's fine. That's a given. So
Ugly,
after that,
ugly babies. You don't want
no, okay. So after that, when does it become too much?
that.
Sometimes people abort babies because it's the wrong sex. I know people have done it personally. So that's okay. Now we can abort a baby because it's not the
Even Bill
sex you want.
Clinton said it should be
It's
rare, few and far between.
so the thing is how many abortions is the limit? 1, 2, 5, 10, 15. What is the point where we say enough is enough for an individual? Is it one? It should be one. Unless it, like we mentioned earlier, something else happened. Okay, well, two. But even two, I give you two mistakes. But after that, you know what? Everybody knows what birth control is. And I don't care if you're male or female, you know what the first birth control is. And
It
this
gets
this
into
comes
icky
into a much more
territory.
touchy. It does. This comes into a much more touchy thing because for men they have no rights when it comes to babies, none at all.
We got the right to pay.
Yeah, we got the right to pay. So what happens? And no, I'm serious. Guys have no right. I cannot tell you can't have an abortion. I have no right to say that. And I also, if you find out you're pregnant, you decide to want to keep the kid, and it's mine, I got to pay for the kid. That's the law. But yet, when it comes to I don't want
You
the
put in the
kid,
plug,
why?
and
So
it's
why can't I
automatic
say?
payment.
But my point is if a woman can say she can have an abortion, why can't the guy say, well, you know what, I want you to have an abortion, and if you
Yeah.
don't want to, well, that's your problem. You raise the kid. So it's a double standard, is what it
In
is.
some states, the male can disavow the child or whatever, and whatever they got to do, detach. You know what? But I don't know. You know what? It's a whole terrible world
So
even to
it
talk about,
gets that,
because
that's what I'm
then
saying.
if you make laws, you have to enforce those laws. To
Yeah,
enforce
you
those
do.
laws, that means people need to be charged, arrested, or fined, or whatever the punishment that people see
And in
fit.
the end, and right when it comes to the end, I'm still not willing to take the choice away from women. I no, I agree. Whoever wrote me that, no, I agree. It should be monitored much closely. Yeah, well, I personally know people who have had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even 8 abortions. See, in Louisiana, you're allowed to have 3, and then you can't have them ever again. But what happens is you can go to a different state and get them.
There's a story going on in the city where, this guy's a cop, and he killed his son. He beat him. He's a very young kid. And then even the school said it looked like, there was abuse.
Yeah.
CPS was going to get involved. They didn't, and it went on for 6 months. Now the kid's dead. The mother and the father, both of them arrested. And this beautiful kid, man, beautiful kid. You say to yourself, there's somebody out there that would just love to have a kid like that around, and you raise them. You have all your holidays, you have everything going on, you make it special. You make it special for them, and that makes it special for you. I mean, when I was raising kids, that's how it works. And then you see these kids just suffering and beaten down and whatever. It's like, god damn, it's just these people. And of course, in the news you get the worst of the worst. And the people that just make them suffer. I don't know, man.
And see that's the other point that a lot of people says, do you want a baby being born to a crackhead? Why
Yeah,
not
or
abort it?
crackhead, or
Or a
or
cokehead or
whatever.
anything for that matter? Do you want a baby? So it's a damned if you do and a damned if you don't. So that's what I'm saying. It's hard to tell somebody right out, no, you can't have an abortion. It's just and you know what? In our society, it's part of our society. But I would imagine 100 years from now, this won't be an argument because there'll be other ways to deal with this. Matter of fact, there'll be ways to keep you from getting pregnant. without all this hub and bub and bub. I
A
notice in
phaser,
countries
a
now, you know what
phaser
I've
gun,
noticed?
man.
So, but this is funny or kind of aggravating at the same time. So in countries where there's male abortion, not male abortion, I mean male contraception other than condoms, the birth rate goes down. Accidental birth rate goes down. Let me rephrase that. So because men are willing to use as a birth control. And a lot of women are too. So there really isn't a need for abortion. Abortion comes from laziness, is what abortion comes from. It comes from, oh, well, I don't want to wear a condom. Well, you know what? We don't have to have sex. It's a real easy fix. But for some reason, instead of holding the two individuals who made this train accountable, we're going to hold the baby accountable. So because two people decided to be ignorant and stupid, we're going to murder a baby. There's just something not right about that. I can guarantee you in societies this does not happen. You're not going to find this in an advanced race other than ours. You know any race that's it's made it this far is going to be like, why are you killing babies? What, you don't have to do that. You know, there's ways to keep people from having babies unless they want to. And in our country, technically in our country, we could do away with abortion, and all we have to do is make birth control mandatory. No benefits, no nothing if you don't get on birth control. Make it where men or women, or make it for both, and just make it mandatory. And that ends the problem with abortion, doesn't it? And that way you just apply when you want to have a baby, and you have a baby, and then you get back on it. Or you get fixed, whichever one. You know, for you guys, y'all can get fixed. And matter of fact, you guys can get fixed and even get reversed if you want to now. So there's no need for this. There really isn't. Other than the cases of rape and molestation or a defect in the baby, there's no real need for abortions anymore. But we don't want to talk about that.
But those are responsible people you're talking about. There's
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
people
So, but
that
that's
they don't
why
care about any of this.
that's why you
They
have to
just
make
want
it
to go out there.
mandatory. We have to make it mandatory. You can't get a job. You can't go to school. You can't do anything unless you've had that birth control. All colleges should be mandatory. All high schools, it should be mandatory.
See, they've never
Or
do
you
that.
can't attend. Why? They made seatbelts mandatory. They made
There you
COVID
go.
shots mandatory.
Safety
So I
device.
would never say never on this, because I think if we want to be a society, a morally just society, then we have to stop murdering babies by
So,
the
like,
millions.
if I'm about to have sex, I call 711, and then somebody shows up and they put a condom on me, and then they kind of wait until it's over. Then they take the condom off, they clean me up, make sure no semen is
Hot
around.
towel action, then, is that what you're talking about?
They
Some
light my
hot towel
cigarette for
action?
me, and then they're out the door.
Look, like I said, I'll never vote to take the right for abortion away from women, but I will bitch, moan, and complain about it because I think there's better ways to do it. So that's my right as an American to get to bitch, moan, and complain. Ladies, sorry, I do think there's a better way. For me, it's hard because I have kids and grandkids and even great grands. Matter of fact, my wife's grandson, my step grandson, texted us yesterday. He had a daughter, which makes me a great grandfather 3 times over now. So, I like babies. I want to see babies. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to raise babies. Even if they are an accident, because half the people I can know that I really like were accidents. So, and I'm glad mom and dad decided to keep them. So I'm just saying, sometimes we're losing a lot when we do this, and you lose a little part of your soul every time you do it. I don't care what you say, you do. It's not something, I know enough women that have had this done. I know enough men whose wives or girlfriends have had it done that's affected. It's not just the effect on females. After all, you just snuffed out your son or your daughter. So it's not as easy as most people think it is to deal with. That's why I was so surprised when the Democrats decided to take away counseling from Planned Parenthood for people having abortions. They were like, we're trying to talk them out of it. No, they're trying to warn them what you can expect, which is the right thing to do.
Planned Parenthood's not an evil thing. They actually do a lot of good for the communities that they're in. They get a bad rep with a lot of the stuff in a couple of their locations. People get crazy, man. But the education part and the help part is important, especially for a lot of young people that don't know what the hell's going on. I've seen it work. It depends on the community, but I think overall they're pretty successful.
So Bruce Coltrane from where? Oh, from North Carolina. Hey man, how you doing out there on the East Coast?
You see, Hagrid died, man. You guys.
Oh, did he? I didn't see it. This guy wants to know if we think that the U.S. will get involved in a nuclear war.
We're already there.
I'm gonna tell you a little secret, okay? The U.S. will not get involved in a direct nuclear war unless there's a direct attack on a military asset. Okay, we're not going to go to war over the Ukraine. I'm sorry to tell you, Ukraine, but the U.S. is not going to. We will vote Joe Biden out of office before this happens because right now the country is war weary. And we have no stake in the Ukraine. Ukraine doesn't feed us, doesn't help us. All it does is corrupt our politicians. So we really don't have a stake over there. Europeans do, and they need to get involved. And you know what? We don't always need to get involved in our allies' wars, just like they don't always get involved in ours. Remember, when we were in the Middle East, only a third of our allies came to help us. The rest said, screw you, we're not getting involved. So I think you're going to see that same attitude here. Democrats aren't big war hawks like they used to be. If Hillary was in office, this might be different because Hillary likes to kick ass. But the current regime are kind of, how can I say this, wussified.
Well,
Joe,
Tulsi said that there's a lot of warmongers, and that's one of the reasons why she left. That,
well, there are a lot of
that
warmongers in the party, but there's none that can really fight a war right now. We'd be like fighting like the Russians are doing. So it's just, and Joe Biden, if you did a confidence poll and Joe Biden to go to war right now, I think it would be quite low. I don't think the Democrats want to release, because if he gets involved and nothing happens and we start losing or something, the whole Democratic Party's gone in the next election, not just Biden.
I think he sees dead people. If you ask me,
he might be talking to Putin on the other side, as far as we know. But
I think there's a light that he sees he should walk to.
Hi, Margaret. Margaret is writing in from Los Angeles, California. How you doing out there?
Oh, baby, L.A. What part of L.A.?
What you got for us? Well, LA is a strategic target, but not on the first or second round. So clarification really quick because we're getting ready to get into some other news. First round, all is strategic targets. Anything where we have nuclear weapons is the first target strikes, or anything that can track them. That's the first round of strikes. The second round is the second round of strategic military targets. The third round is when they hit cities like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, Houston, Dallas, places like that. Port cities like New Orleans, Portland, and Seattle, they'll all get hit to try to cripple the United States. But think about what I just said. So just New York alone and Baltimore and D.C. in the surrounding Pittsburgh area, there's 68 million people there. They're all dead now because there'll be at least 10 nukes dropped. So they're all dead. Then they'll hit, L.A. Poop, there goes another 8 million. By the time
the positive side is the job market will open up like
yes, but by the time they get through dropping nukes in our country, there'll be 150 million Americans dead and another 50 million dying of radiation poisoning. There'll still be about 180 of us now running around still, but we will have thoroughly had our asses handed to us. Just the same thing with Russia would be gone because they've only got 187 million people now. So we'd wreak havoc. There'd be nothing left in the country. And the first round would be enough to take Russia out. But Russia's missiles are like ours. They're pre-programmed. They can send into a pre-programmed attack pattern. So I mean, honestly, judging from some of Russia's equipment lately, I'm not going to count on all their missiles to get off the ground or things like that. But still, enough of them might find their way over here, unless Elon decides to intervene. Do you know if Elon? Let me explain something to y'all. So, if Russia was to launch like 1,800 nukes against us, and Elon used his satellites to knock them out of the sky, he would be the next president. Even if he's not from here, he'd probably be the next emperor of the United States.
He's planning on going to Mars. He
does, but he needs his crew to take to Mars.
He
needs a few a few million citizens to take to Mars with him, so he can start his own colony.
It's a James Bond movie, isn't it? I mean,
it is, and he always scares me. Every time I hear him talk about Mars, I think of Moonraker because he sounds like that evil bastard. Because in the beginning, the guy wasn't all evil. He was going to change the world. No, I love Elon, and
big bushy eyebrows. You can't trust guys like that, man.
You mean how much does it cost? It probably cost Elon probably $4 or $5 million a day per satellite in the Ukraine. It's a lot of money. I mean, you're talking a few $100 million, easy. It's probably getting closer to $1 billion now. So I think it was great that he did it, and I think that the Ukraine should be a little bit more appreciative of it. So Lazinski's said some pretty harsh shit about Elon a few times in the last few weeks, and that's stupid. This is the guy who allows you to communicate with your troops. for free. I think I think Elon's not feeling the love is what I'm thinking. Elon is a guy, even though he's my man crush, he still needs a little stroke and a little head stroke every once in a while. He needs to know
I wouldn't
he's
trust
the
that
shit.
little cockroach as far as I can throw him. I like him, but I
Oh, I
wouldn't
love
trust
him,
him as
man.
far as I can throw him,
Oh,
man.
hail Musk. All hail the Musk
He's that
man.
1984 guy, man. I'll tell you, I wouldn't trust.
I love me some
You know how
Elon.
he says that AI is going to take over, the robots are going to take over. That's the biggest problem, or
Um,
whatever. And what's he doing? He's building tons of robots. So think
so,
about think about it. Just think
so
about it.
Joy Bench is writing in from Buffalo, New York. Hey, Buffalo up there. Is it cold up there yet? Starting to get
Buffalo.
cold?
That's like
Yeah.
3 hours from where I am.
No, I was asking her if it was cold up there. She
Bring
said
me some buffalo wings. I'll take
She
that right
said
now.
she said Putin scares the living hell out of her. She said all of New York is a target. It would like just a stick across the pond, just a little
Joe,
drip.
nobody's nuking Buffalo. It's the 11th
Ah.
most dangerous place in the United States of America.
Oh man, I'm sorry, he's
The
hating on you.
Russians would
That
be
that is Mike.
scared.
He's in New
They,
York. I
they
can't.
they'd be scared to go to Buffalo.
But
Any
baby, I
soldier,
understand. I understand being scared like
special
you are.
forces or whatever, man.
See, when I'm where I am right now, when I'm broadcasting from where I am right now, I'm not really so much worried about nuclear. I'm in a I wouldn't say a nuke free zone, but I'm in an area where
You're in the beautiful Pas Christian, man.
I'm in a place where
It's a very nice
it's
area.
I'm 70 miles from a big city in either direction. There are smaller cities around. There are military bases around, but I'm also in places where I can get to shielded areas, which is cool
Well, they're
too.
gonna go for military technology, like the Lockheed Martins, the whatever, the Grummins,
Yeah, but they're also going to go
whatever
for
the hell's out there.
they're going to go for all the military bases where we have planes stored, bombs stored, and every other
Yeah.
thing. Who we got there? JP McHale. Am I saying that right? Where are you
Food
from, JP?
supplies,
Where you? Oh, hey, you from London? Hey, what's up, man? What time? It's the wee morning over there. Huh? What is it? Like 3, 4 in the morning over there?
5 hour difference.
Yeah. So it's 6 for us. So I mean, yeah. So it's what like 4, huh? Well, hey, welcome aboard. How you doing? Um, but y'all got a new prime minister. Oh, so what you? Okay. So he's saying that he don't think Britain's new prime minister would get involved if Putin nuked the Ukraine.
But what about King Charles, man?
King Charles can't do anything. What he's gonna do? Woohoo! Woohoo! I'm just
King
saying, it's nothing
Charles.
King Charles can do. King
He'd be
Charles
like, I'm
can
the king. I'm the king.
King Charles can sit on a whistle and blow it out his ears. I just There's nothing he can do. So you don't think that you know the Brits are famous for the U.S. We're the same thing. We tend to pick our fights together for some reason because we're better together. And y'all don't have really y'all's matter of fact, y'all's military I don't think is even as big as the Ukraine's is. I mean, as big as the
No,
Ukraine's is.
the UK is pretty small overall,
Yeah, so I'm saying I don't think the military is as big as the Ukraine. That's because y'all got Big Daddy to watch all over y'all. Yeah, because we'll kick anybody's ass
but
if we
they've
want to
got
watch y'all.
the king.
It's hard to make people around the world understand it, but for some reason, the U.S. feels an obligation to protect the British people, the UK itself. I don't know why we don't really
Because
give a shit about the
we're
well, we don't
obsessive
really care about the
compulsive about it.
Commonwealth. We're not so much worried about protecting India or other countries. We just I don't know. It's a thing. Maybe that's where we started from or sprouted, and that's not even true. We started from Columbus, so we didn't even start from there. But for some reason, we feel this need to protect the Brits, even though y'all tried to murder the hell out of us back 200 years ago. But still, we feel this need to protect you. I
It's a
don't know what
love
it
hate
is. It
relationship,
is a
man.
love
It
hate
really
relationship.
is.
But the funny part is, and this is the same, this is true for Canada and Australia as well. Our militaries, our governments, and our money is so intertwined together. You can't really separate them without doing damage to each country. Now it's not as going to hurt the U.S. as bad as it would the rest, but it would be damaging severely. It's just the way we've come to rely on each other. Oh, screw China! China without China without America and the EU is nothing. They're nothing. They're a third world nation, is what they are. And Xi Jinping knows it. That's why he's getting so pissed. It's one of the reasons he wants Taiwan. He needs to get back in the world's heart, but COVID kicked him into coronas, and now he don't know how to get out of it.
Even
Uh,
worse, you want to hear what's going on?
I
Their
heard he.
that their main rivers have dried up, so their hydropower is done. The food supply, the water, everything that goes along with it, man. People are suffering. Their economy is about to completely collapse because of it. And also, a lot of people don't want to buy from them anymore. There's a lot of between shipping problems and COVID, because COVID is out and about again. We have another
Yeah.
surge going on here in the U.S. So with two different variants, but same for China, same for a lot of these places. So I mean, really economically, they're not in a pretty position. They're not in a position to go to war. That's for sure. And you remember it used to be a war stimulated economy, and then but now things are so expensive. Even a cruise missile is 1.4 million, one of ours.
Yeah.
And that's just a basic without any kind of special warhead. So think about the money, the absolute unbelievable. That's what kills me. The trillions that people throw away to war should be education, should be people living better, living in a better place, and not having to fight each other for a bone. But instead, it's this. It's this. These evil people. One evil goddamn person can screw up millions of people, man, and that's been proven time and time again. How dare they?
Man. Well, I see China's in pretty bad shape. They're saying that they need to get it together. Now the Communist Party saying that Xi Jinping couldn't claim its growth it's had in the last decade, the last 2 decades. He said that's not on you. He said now there's slowdowns on you. So I don't know. He might be in trouble
You
with
see
his own
how,
party.
aside from that, do you see this Thunberg? The Greta Thunberg, right? It's like the media's floating. She has ideas that they need to keep open their power plants, this and shut this down and whatever. She's just some stupid kid that doesn't know anything. I don't even think she's in school, And then here, like they're going to her for knowledge. That's how crazy the world is.
Oh, it
That's
is.
right there. How
Well,
crazy it
so
is.
see, so this is why I'm so glad there's independent news that goes into these countries. So China is they're laying off tens of thousands of employees, not just a couple of hundred, but literally tens of thousands of employees. Their asses is just in trouble all over the place. I don't know, and see that's the other problem. Just be honest. We knew you were in financial trouble. Just be honest and let everybody know what's going on so we know what to expect. But no, we couldn't even do that. It's like when that ship got lodged in the Suez Canal sideways and stopped the growth. Everybody getting product last year.
Right?
Nobody wanted to talk about it.
Nope.
They wanted to blame it on everything but there was a ship. You got to notice, did you, ladies and gentlemen, for about a week or so, a ship ran aground, but it ran aground so one end was touching one side, one end was touching the other side. It was wedged in there, and they couldn't get it out. So it stopped shipping. It was blacked out, the canal down it. It was just bad. It set everything back 3 to 5 weeks. But we blame something entirely different. It had nothing to do with COVID, by the way. Even that's what was getting blamed for it. And I think COVID and Trump was getting blamed for it,
No, it
even though
was
Trump wasn't
stupidity,
president.
is what happened.
There was stupidity, but
Yeah.
it was part of it. So, yeah, Carl, we're gonna Carl Westman. Where did I know that name from? Man, I know your name from somewhere. Why don't you text me? What do you do for a
You
living?
know it from a dream.
It's weird. No, dude, I know this dude's name.
Now he's haunting you.
He might be. You never
Like
know.
Kim Jong Un, he has dreams of the Orange Man. Orange Man in my dreams, Orange Man.
I know. We all got to love some Orange Man. So
The
let's see.
Orange
What are
Man.
the top stories? What do y'all think? We're gonna go through these before we get into
That's
polls and stuff like that.
Syracuse, New York is the basketball Orange Man,
Yeah.
man. Woohoo!
So wait, this is Newsmax. GOP demands archive docs suspecting dim political pressure behind Trump raid. So somebody came forward the other day and said that they know for a fact that the Democrats were putting pressure on the DOJ and all them to go raid Trump.
Oh yeah, of course. We know that.
So now they want that. So that's Newsmax's first. That's their lead story. So we're just starting left to right. So these are probably Republican or
Yeah.
conservative ones. So here's One
Newsmax
American
is
News.
Republican.
So they've got their two top stories, their three top stories is House Republicans pledge to pass partial bill of rights if the to take back control of the lower chamber in midterms if they take back. So we'll see what that is. John DeSantis blast Parkland shooter verdict says Cruz deserved a death penalty. We talked about that earlier in the show, guys. Pelosi, I'm going to punch President Trump out. I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to be happy. Okay, I don't even know what to think about that. That's just bad grammar all around there. Okay, here is Fox. House Democrats showing early signs of potential presidential run with hire and speed across key states. Okay, I'm not even sure what the hell that's supposed to mean. So now here we go. We're going to the liberal media. See, ABC News is up first. So what is their first story? Teen 15 fatally shot after argument on New York subway. Mike and I, we're going to talk about this too, about the little people being released in New York. So
Yep.
that's going. Their second one is Musk wants Pentagon to pay for Starlink satellites. What did I tell y'all a little while ago? And look, when I'm good, I'm good. What can I tell y'all, people? I already knew that's what Musk wanted. He wants his money. He's spending lots of money keeping them satellites. He could be using them somewhere else. Let's see.
They
Oath
said that they
Keeper.
were going to pay them. It's
I
like,
know.
I don't know.
So here we go. We're going to CBS now. Here's CBS. So these are the top stories on each one of the major networks. That's what we're reading out. So here we go. This is CBS. Top story. What's next after Jan 6 committee's vote to subpoena Trump? I think they said he didn't have to go. Somebody I thought said they had to go.
Someone said they're
DOJ
going after
calls
his
for
balls.
reversal of entity on special master ruling in Trump case. Oh, so he don't want this now. Oh, so it's not
Who
working the
doesn't?
way he wanted because he's getting in trouble. So far that's so you already seen that was instantly hating on Trump. Both those articles were about Trump. This is
Well, you
ABC
got Liz Cheney
or
there. She
CBS,
freaking hates him. You know it's
but
biased.
this is CBS News. This is supposed to be a bi. CBS is supposed to be a bi-partial news.
Yeah, but
Obviously
it's
not. Oh,
not.
so here we go. MSNBC top story. What is running top story? MSC dangerous micro. Sorry, the damn thing moved when I did it. Dangerous microconceptions in bolding their cells with Herschel Walker and Yee, whatever Yee is. So,
Ye is that dude, Kanye.
okay.
It's actually pronounced Ye.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
YE. What do I know? Okay, don't hate people. I don't know. So, I'm not even sure what that meant. I should have read that better, but still, I'm looking at it again.
My
I still
name
don't think
is
that's it.
Ye, you racist mother.
How will the debate impact the
That was
polls?
Kanye. He
We'll
kind
keep
of,
this in mind. I
that
don't
was Ye.
know.
He kind of just cut
I
the
mean,
name.
really and truly, uh, most of this, so far, all we can see is Jan 6 on this. Nobody else even wants to talk about it. CNN. Now, I have been noticing something on CNN. They have been changing a little bit. Oh,
They're trying.
Don Lemon is gone,
Don
people.
Lemon.
He is going like a big fat pecan eaten by a big fat girl. Or a big fat moo moo cow, or a
What's
big
wrong
fat
with
guy.
fat women, damn it?
Hey, I just said fat guys and fat cows too, so get over it.
Fat
Uh,
cows,
so,
fat guys. What about
so
fat kids?
no, we ain't gonna hate on the kids, but still. So here we go. CNN first article: 5 takeaways from the Georgia Senate debate. That might be interesting. I'm gonna have to read that. Ukraine says it destroyed a significant amount of Russia's weapons in strike. And then Trump operates scene on video in Georgia voting system breach testifies before grand jury.
Trump's been
So
subpoenaed, man. They're gonna subpoena him. Bring him home.
why we may not? Well, here we go too. Analysis: why we may not know who controls the Senate on November 8th. Yeah, because it's going to be a big fight. That's why. So CNN's kind of neutral here. They didn't take any of the lefties' angles or the righties' angles. This might turn into the old CNN. I would be a happy camper and talk about them all the time. Yahoo News. Yahoo's been kind of leaning to the left lately, but Yahoo's very first article is why Ian could tip Florida's real estate towards the super rich. North Korea fires missiles, warplanes near rivals' border. Now, you notice I just went through what? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9 different news agencies. And this is the first one to mention the missiles being fired in North Korea. Americans are worrying about nuclear war again. See, Yahoo News is now, before we go off, before we get out of this pissed me off when I heard this today. So you heard what the Texas Governor Abbott did, right? So he said all of the migrants that Florida sent on the buses up to wherever had been criminal acts had been portrayed on them. So he's going to make it easier for them to get their citizenship into the United States. Now these are fellow Republicans. I'm kind of a little confused here.
You
I'm
know
not.
what, man? I've been seeing story after story about how the Biden administration is dumping all these kids in New York State and other places. Planes flying in middle of the night. These kids, unaccompanied kids. Sheriff's Department have to get involved because people were concerned about all these unaccompanied kids and their chaperones are running around. It's a mess. It really is a mess. And the city, they're giving them a couple $1,000, nice hotel, all that. So I'm going to go down there with no ID and just say my name is Jose. What's your name?
And
Jose.
my name is Jose Montaldo. That's for true, man. Could you give me some money?
Give me
I need
some
some
money.
money.
Where is the
So
money?
so just we talked about this in last week's show. We're going to mention this again.
Mm.
The second fleet is being redeployed again because of Putin and his annex. So
Oh yeah.
one of the things in the fleet is after years of headache, the USS Navy first stealth destroyer is operating farther than home from Earth. So it's been deployed into this fleet. This thing is badass. You can't even find it when it's on the ocean. Submarines, when it's got a secondary drive mode it uses so that submarines can't track them through a sonar. It's a badass thing. Plus, they redeployed the rail guns on two of them. So these things have rail guns that if you lined up like 10 aircraft carriers in a line, it would go in one and come out the 10th one. They're just badass.
Yeah.
And when you use them, they can literally just like if you were cutting dots across something, like you're howling out a pumpkin, just cut off the top of a ship or cut a ship in half. I mean, there's just no stopping them, and you can't hit them with anti-aircraft or anything like that because they're moving too fast.
The impact is so huge that because they're traveling so fast, so the impact is so huge that it causes an unbelievable like an explosion. There's no ordnance. It's just kind of a beam of steel, basically. But
the Zimwald is in Guam in Japan right now, showing off its pretty little stealthy little self with its two rail guns in the front. I was like,
lasers. Oh, look, all the new
lasers.
This thing. Lockheed Martin delivered all those lasers they mounted on F-16.
And this is one of the reasons why this thing was such a nightmare to get going, because so much future tech. Well, while we're talking about that, let's bring up part 2 of this article. After years of delays, the most advanced aircraft carrier ever built is underway with the Zimwald.
Gerald Ford, which is funny as hell.
Yes, the USS Gerald Ford. He got named that because of the wars, and it's just super badass. China don't even like talking about it. Russia just ignores it. Russia said, "Oh, we could kill it," and I remember Captain a couple weeks ago he said, "Not with hypersonic missiles, you can't. You can try though." He said, "But you're not going to kill it." And he said, "And remember this: once we see where you're launching from, you're dead."
Apparently, when they were testing it, they were shooting torpedoes at it and all this stuff, and they couldn't sink it. I mean, it's pretty heavy duty, man. Got a huge crew. I mean, it's a big aircraft carrier.
It is. What's cool about it, though, even though it's bigger than the Nimitz and the Enterprise and all, it has a smaller crew. It still has a huge crew. Don't get me wrong, like 3,800 people or something. But the Nimitz,
no, way more than that.
Oh, is it? They upsized it because they were supposed to be running half.
2 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah,
there's a lot, man.
I'll have to go back and look at it.
So big.
Let's see. Here we go. Pretty troublesome new
big fleet. Big compliment to the fleet.
Okay, pretty troublesome new blank variant BO1 growing rapidly. See, I didn't use the word. See, I left the word out. Oh wait, I forgot about this one.
It's
Home Depot founder Bernie Marcos on President Biden. What the hell does he know about economics? I mean, this guy's coming out and going, wait, what do you know about anything? More and more people are calling him out on economics all over the place, but because he has just piss poor economics.
Dead people.
Well, that too. It scares me with the seeing dead people thing.
Calling out someone. I mean, there's just a couple months before he sent sympathy. Oh, I'm so sorry. He spoke. She passed away and whatever. This just goes to show you that he doesn't know what he's doing ever.
It's I don't know. The whole thing is freakity weird.
And what about Hunter?
Let me
Hunter, they're trying to pass him over. They're trying to slap his wrist and let him go.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen because the FBI released something the other day about they have more than enough, or somebody in the FBI released it. They have way more than enough evidence to convict him. So I don't know if they're going to be.
Do you trust the FBI anymore? Jim?
No, but what I think is going to happen is, and I think this is probably what's going to really happen. Probably closer to the end of the term, you're going to see them convict Hunter Biden, or there's going to be a deal made where Hunter Biden pleads guilty and gets convicted to X amount of years and X amount of probation. But I think what you're really going to see is just before the election, you're going to see Daddy pardon him, and which he can do. There's nothing anybody can do about it. His dad can pardon him. And that'll be the end of that. Because I don't think they can get away. Because if the FBI doesn't go after this guy, they got real problems. Not just that. You see, they started going after the stealing all of them over the dossier. Now, they haven't gone after Hillary. but they've gone off to everyone else.
I know, right?
Yeah, so there's people going to jail over this. There's no doubt about that. Hillary's probably not going to, but other people are going to go to jail. Now Chelsea might go to jail over the wedding thing. A New York judge just recently said it's going to have to go to trial. How did she say it? It's going to have to go to trial, darling. Sorry, because it's going to have to go to trial.
Trial, yes.
Yeah, I think she was pleading ignorance, basically. Oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Oh wait, you're paying.
That's Kathy Hochul, man. I'll tell you, the governor of New York. She's on the take, taking bribes of all kinds. That was the front page of the Post. Her just getting showered with money. She's using it to get votes and whatever. Disgusting behavior.
Well, I haven't even heard anybody running against her.
That guy's running against her, and he's a Republican on Long Island. Someone just shot people outside of his house, like
but I mean,
local,
he's not on any
hooligans.
news anywhere. Nobody's talking. He can't win if nobody's talking about him.
And I can't remember his name.
So you don't even know who the hell he is.
and I live in New York.
I mean, that's just sad.
I don't remember his name, but I'm a Republican in New York.
Jenny,
Republican with a small R. I only joined to fight from within.
You know what, Jenny? I've been thinking about the call thing, because on a show like this, you really should be able to take calls in, live calls, and we may switch the venue over to a different venue where we can take calls, because Mike and I don't have to use StreamYard. We just use it because it's convenient for us on the video feed. But I can log the StreamYard video feed into anything else we're doing. So I do miss live calls and shows like this.
This is what I did in my show when I was on television in Ithaca. There was a phone that came through to the studio. I gave that number out. I threw a microphone on the phone. It was a speakerphone. And when people called in, I just plunked it. They were on the air. It was that simple, man, and let them talk, and it didn't get any feedback and nothing like that. Maybe we could do something like that. Have just a dedicated number of people can call. You know what I mean?
Oh, so that's why Musk is how ignorant can you be? So the Ukrainian after ambassador told him to F off. So you know what? You just lost your only way to communicate.
Yeah.
That Russia.
Like I said, if the guy's in it to win it, then he is. If he's not, he's not. Nobody needs him. He can go.
So how's the U.S. going to offset Elon Musk pulling? Oh, the U.S. will have to make a deal with Elon to keep his stuff there. That's what's going to happen.
It's money. They're just pushing money around. Our money.
Yeah, it's our money. Elon, they're just going to have to give Elon money for this. Hey, Elon, I'm for it. I mean, how long they've been in war? Like 6 months now. He's been footing the bill the whole entire time. So I kind of with you on this, Elon. I think somebody else should. I mean, if we can send millions and billions of dollars over there in weapons, we should be able to pay for you. Because I want to go to Mars with him, even though I know he's going to be some kind of evil overlord of some kind. So, I was thinking maybe we should have give away some stuff on poll night. We're going to give away some books. We might even give away a lightsaber or two. I was thinking we might do that if you can correctly predict the way the polls are running. So if you send us like the way you think the polls are going to run and how close you think an election is going to be, whoever gets the closest that night will we're going to give away 2 cases of book that night, but we're going to also give away 2 lightsabers. Yes. So
are they vape lightsabers? Like you vape through them? Like what's going on with that? You put a little bit of hash oil in that, like that.
But not that kind of lightsaber.
Well, yeah. What happened to Griner, man? I mean, you don't hear much about her. There is a story about her, about how life sucks in jail in Russia. But I think we could probably assume that.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Oh, would I vote for legal marijuana? I already have. So, yeah, I've already voted for it twice. Once in each 2 different states. No, I legally voted. Whoever said that, I used to live in Louisiana. I live in Mississippi now, and I work in Louisiana. But I live in the 2 most backwards, ignorant states in the Union. But fortunately for me, I don't live where that actually is. See, people don't realize it, but the Gulf South, there's quite a lot of intelligent people down here. There's a lot of money down here. There's a lot of high tech down here. It's just when you get in the middle of the states upwards, it gets a little. Anyway, I got friends in the middle, so I don't want to piss them off, but it gets a little backwards, is all I can say.
Brittany Griner worried she will have to serve out her 9-year sentence in Russia.
It sounded like she is, too, unless the U.S. gets out of the... on Pravda television, they said if the U.S. would stop supplying weapons to the Ukraine, they would let her out.
Where was Dennis Rodman? I thought he was going to save the day, man. He's a cool guy. I would
Let's
make him a
see.
cabinet
So
member.
I love this. So the polls midterm elections race neck and neck among likely voters nationwide. 50% supporting Democrats and 47% reporting Republicans. Now, I'll tell you what poll this is in a minute, but but then it goes on to say, so it's a CNN poll. So normally CNN, this is how they would do this poll because they were very left leaning. But then it goes on to say, according to CNN poll, but within competitive districts, voters prefer leaning towards Republican. And it goes on to say that we're pretty sure that the Republicans will take the House back. So CNN would have never said this in the past, ever.
So this is what Dennis Rodman's doing. After winning, this is a day ago, after winning $89,000 in one night of gambling, Dennis Rodman lost it all more than a week later. This is a story they did yesterday. So where's Brittany Griner after he, I guess there was disapproval about Brittany Griner, him trying to help her. A lot of people they don't feel sorry for her. They don't feel sorry that she's in this
situation. Well, I don't
She
feel
brought
sorry for
drugs into
her.
Russia.
I mean, no, again, let me rephrase it. I feel sorry because she's in a Russian gulag because I know it's got to be hell. I don't feel sorry for her for the fact that, okay, I'm perfect.
It's not a nice place to
I'm
be.
the activist. I hate my country. I'm going to buy some drugs in this country and transport them to a different country. That's an ego beyond belief. No one, even professional drug dealers wouldn't do that kind of shit. They'd be like, no, man, there's other ways to do this. First off, why didn't you just buy drugs in Russia? At least you wouldn't have got as much trouble for transporting them across two country lines. And technically, she could be in jail in trouble from the country she brought it from, unless it was a.
You buy it when you get there, like anybody else.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find it on the street in any country. I don't understand why she did what she did, and from what I understand, it wasn't even hit; it was just there. Did someone, maybe someone told her it was legal? The first thing you do when you're traveling, and I do this for a lot of reasons, is you check what's legal to bring across country lines or state lines. You always ask.
Oh, especially
because like in the United
basketball.
States.
He was going to with a team, some whatever.
Okay, that was weird. I don't know if that was me or you, Max, had German out there. That was weird. It's I don't know. I wouldn't. I would check. I'd ask everybody I could.
Whenever I see people with those double piercings in their nose, I want to grab a 9-volt battery. It's the evil part of me.
I know.
Something wrong with
me. Man, no. It's. But still, I don't know why you wouldn't have checked what was legal. Russia just doesn't seem like a country that was into legal drugs.
No.
They seem like they were like, are you stupid? Did you not read about Russia before you came here?
Exactly.
Look, in this country, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know this, if you have cigarettes or beer in your car and you're crossing state lines, you can actually go to jail for bootlegging in some states.
Yeah. If you have an open container, you without drinking it, you can go to jail for a DWI. Do you know that?
Yes, you can. Well, you go to DWI for sitting in your car with your car off. If the keys are in your ignition and a cop knocks on the window and you're asleep in your car and your keys in your ignition, you're going to jail for DUI. If they're on the floor, if you take them out and throw them on the floor or on the seat, they won't take you to jail for it. But if they're not, because it's intent to drive, they're taking you to jail. I've watched them do it a couple times. When I used to manage a Taco Bell, I'd come in at night to check on employees from time to time. I'm in a drive-through. This guy's passing out behind every car. So I go out there, get him in the parking lot. I said, dude, park your car, take a nap, right? So the cops come in every night to eat late and do their paperwork because I'd let them in the store. And we'd lock up and they'd come in. They're in there doing the paperwork. Who's that? The guy's just loaded. I told him to go sleep it off. He said, if he's got his keys in ignition, he's going to jail, right? I was like, really? I said, come on, dude, cut him a break. I said, I'm the one. He said, well, you probably saved his life and other people's lives by not letting him leave here. He said, so the cop goes out there showing up his keys. But the cop said his key was halfway hanging out the ignition because I guess he couldn't get it all the way out. So they cut him some slack. But you can definitely go to jail for it. Useless information or useful information if you like to
So
drink and
apparently,
drive.
Dennis Rodman changed his mind about going to Russia. About going to Russia to help.
Because you don't want to go to jail in Russia. Would you?
Yep. So he changed his mind. He didn't want to do it. The Biden administration told him not to. That don't. To lock him up too. That'd be funny. Everybody send to kind of lock up. Well, he had a close relationship with Kim Jong Un, so he was able to go and free a bunch of people, and he was like, known for that. But in this case, it's not going to work. Russians don't really have a high opinion of people like Dennis Rodman. Let's just say it.
Yeah, because anyway, let's just say
what was that? What was that, Joe? What did you want to say?
They don't know anything that comes out of my mouth here.
Joe?
Anything that comes out of my mouth here is just going to get me in trouble. But it's
just. What are you trying to say?
Let's just say Russia just doesn't like those kind of people, and leave it at that.
That's what I said.
I'm agreeing with you because I ain't saying nothing else. I'm just not.
That's as plain as you can put it. That's the pudding in the bowl, man, right there.
He would probably end up in jail with her.
He probably would.
Still.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'd put him on their Olympic basketball team next year.
Iran, they're still rioting, and they do 9 provinces. They're shutting stuff down. Mainly the teenage girls, but a lot of the young guys. Of course, there's going to be guys. The girls are doing it. The guys got to follow along. You know what I mean? That's kind of, you want to meet girls. That's where they are, and then you protest. But they want the Ayatollah gone. They want the whole thing. That they killed three girls already. That one because she wasn't wearing her hijab properly, and they beat her to death. Right? But they're done. Do you think this time they're going to do it revolution? Or do you think it's just going to be another bullcrap thing, and they'll go back? They'll be pacifist. Just get into the world of, okay, what can we do?
I think if the U.S. didn't have moron in the White House, and we wasn't other than occupied other places, I think this would be an opportunity to get a firm revolution going. But for some reason, Iran's done this, I don't know, at least 5 times in my lifetime, and they've had some pretty big ones. Oh, yeah. And still hasn't. The religious caste has a tight rule over there. If they could really break the religious class, it would probably help Muslims themselves understand that, look, you don't have to be with a radical group anymore. You can just be like the Christians or the Jews or anybody else. Have your religion, believe what you want, and then go ahead and enjoy your life. And not have to worry about getting blown up. Because lately, the prime minister in Israel said he's willing to give up land for a true peace deal with the Palestinians. So, and Trump already brokered some serious peace deals over there. So Iran's really the holdout right now. Well, in some little shithole countries. But I just don't know. See, if right now, if we could send in people and money to help these people keep going and help them with the rhetoric, they might have a chance. But they've got to know they got somebody backing them. And Iraq can't back them right now. And Saudi's not going to back them. Israel sure the hell is not going to back them.
But Israel's edging to go in there. They're waiting. They're like, let us in there. We're going to blow the crap out of them and take care of all this, settle their hash right now. That's Israel. And the more things get flamed up, the more they douse the fires, and boom. Israel can go in there and kind of put them. They took an F-35 and they flew all through. Remember when they first got it in Israel? That pilot flew all through Iran, everywhere, past Russian missile systems and all that. They didn't even know he was there. And he planned all these sorties, man. So he picked out the spots he was going to blow up. All the places they're making uranium and whatever and all that stuff. Their weapons and that type of thing. I mean, so they're like in the Stone Age still. They think they're technological, but they're not really. They're like Radio Shack technological. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they I don't know. Iran's got Iran's got potential. It's just until they can get free again. Once all the world's free, then we actually have a chance of becoming something great. And we're not that far right now. I mean, there's only half a dozen holdouts. China's a big issue, and Russia's a big issue. But Russia, I think, is going to fall back in line, and then China's going to even be in a tighter squeeze.
They're both going to fizzle out. The important thing is that we should make sure that they don't get the funds to continue and build these terrible weapons and do terrible things.
Yes, we need to put the squeeze on China, so China's back to where it was. It can't spend all this money on the military. It has to resort to get away from its military to feed its people, and and stop building nukes and stop building other stuff. And the U.S. has the ability to do it with Europe, and we can do it easily. And then just say, look, you go to a democratic government, and we'll go ahead and put you back in the world, and do it like that, and then make sure that all, because what goes on is the U.S. and the UN needs to start learning how to dole out stuff. You can't let one country like China. So if we cut China loose and let it supply all the world, it'll be so rich that nothing could ever stop it. So we can't allow that to happen anymore on our planet. So we have to be able to monitor everything and have to say, okay, well, you're doing that. Taiwan can do this. You need to let Hong Kong go to independent state. They can do this. Japan can do that. The U.S. can do this. South America can do that. Africa can do this. And then the whole world's producing regularly, and there's no insanity going on. But when one power gets too much money, and that's what happened with Russia, and Trump warned them, stop giving Russia all this money. He's going to use it to do a war. And that's what he did. He kept, building up the funds, and all of a sudden he's pumping tons of oil to the EU, and they're paying him tons of money, and prices are going up and up and up, and he's getting richer and richer and richer and richer and richer. And then, bam, we can go start a war because it's not even costing us anything. Our oil's paying for it. The only thing it cost him was no. He can't get cheese anymore. There's so many things he can't get in this country. Good chocolate. There's just a lot of stuff he can't get. And if he had a bigger country, a mass of people bigger, he could convert his country into a farming country and really start getting everything he needed. But he can't. He's only got 170 million people. And I think, if I remember the last census correctly, only about the middle percentage is only about 20% of them are between the ages of 30 and 40. Most of them are, I think there's like 50 something percent or 60 or over, and then like 30 something percent were 18 or younger. So it just doesn't leave that big of a percentage of the population to do anything with. Nope. If you put everybody working farms, you can't have a military. So you got to give something up, and they shouldn't. Russia should become, like Brazil, should become the biggest farm countries in the world. And just do it and be done with it. And there are things they can, like most people don't even know this, but do you know hemp plant produces, hemp field produces 6 times the amount of oxygen of a forest, and only takes 6 weeks to grow, whereas a forest takes 30 years to grow. Mm. So there's ways to change all of this. We just don't feel like we should, or we don't want to, or what's going on. Joe Biden headlines: midterm fundraiser with Nancy Pelosi at home of Marcy Carsey. Marcy Carsey. Wait, am I saying that wrong? I'm sorry. Governor Hochul orders investigation after New York teacher told to take down progressive pride flag. Ooh, I'm not sure if I should even get upset about that.
People are getting pissed off at this whole woke crap, and
it's hurting.
They're pushing back. Yeah, they're pushing back. Because why? Because the so-called woke people went crazy. Trying to tell children that they should be that pedophiles are okay, and this is what they're saying. They're saying pedophiles is a lifestyle. This is what these liberals are saying. It's like, what are you talking about? I don't know, man. These people are sick. They're sick. They're sick.
Them bitches lucky
so Joe, educate me on this Lizzie. Who's this Lizzo? Lizzo. What's going on with that? It's a guy, right? It's a transvestite. Is that what it is?
I have no idea. I don't want to get. I stay away from most of it as much as I can. Living in a city in New Orleans or around the city in New Orleans, you got to be careful, man.
I thought you knew what Lizzo was all about. I thought you were like into that. You buy his albums, her albums, whatever it is.
Oh, you mean Izzy? Whatever Izzy Lizard or whatever his name is.
Lizzo.
Yeah, whatever his name is. You know what? I don't know what he is. I think he's a guy. Actually,
I'd have to ask
my wife. I think yeah.
Looks
people,
like
if y'all know these people out there, listen, these 2 idiots, I can hear them now. These guys are idiots, man. But hey, people, we don't keep them with everything now. Come on, cut us a break.
It looks like a dude. I'm sorry. I mean, in this day and age, you really, when people put themselves out there, you don't really know. You know what I mean? You don't know until you know. You know that. until you get down to the brass tacks. And I don't want to get down to those brass tacks. I just think that is what it is. All the hoopla, I figured that's what that is. It's very large, obese person.
Blow up Russian trains, liberate the coast. Ukraine has a plan to win war.
I'm confused. They say obesity is bad.
Well, it is bad. It's bad for you.
Bad for your health. But, It's not. I don't think it's attractive.
Judge
Me
Cannon
personally.
has humiliated herself as the Supreme Court refuses to step in. Morning Joe. What about Morning Joe? Morning Joe sucks. That's one of the worst TV shows I've ever seen. That guy has never been right about politics. Everything he said about the Russian collusion, him and his thing he calls a girlfriend, was wrong. Everything. I mean, it wasn't anything he said. Matter of fact, that's why a lot of, did y'all know a reason a lot of the NBC and CNN hosts got canned was because everything they bought every hook, line, and sinker from Adam Schiff and the rest of them saying, "Oh, we got him, and this is what it is." And they got on TV and ran it for hours and days with him. And of course, now we know every single piece was a lie. And any good investigative reporter figured it out. Hell, Sean Hannity figured it out, and he's like he can tie his freaking shoes. I mean, Lord. Oh no, who said it? No, Sean Hannity's a pretty boy. Yeah, no, I've talked to Sean before. He's a pretty boy. He used to be a contractor back when he was young, but he'll tell you he's not a journalist. No, he's not. He'll be one of the first. I'm not a journalist. I am a host. I'm a radio host and a TV host. He will tell you that. He will not lie to you about it because he's not a journalist. He's a freaking host. Well, because Fox News, just like MSNBC News, are not real news. They're what we call opinion news. Yes, they're not journalists. I don't even know if there's any journalists left at NBC or CBS or ABC for that matter. I'm not even sure there is any anymore. Most everybody are hosts now. It's talent. It's the ability to convince whoever's listening to you that what you're saying is true. That's what they're interested in. Yes. Yeah.
I just can't find it. I'm Googling. I just can't find it.
Izzy Lizard or something, I think is his name.
I think I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter. You know what? I accept anybody for what they are. I really don't care what the hell people are. I just don't want it in my face because I don't care what people are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go around telling people my sexual politics, even though I don't have any right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have zero sexual politics going on. In case you
So
want to know.
I love these polls because it's, again, 50% Democrats, 47% Republicans. But then they say in any state where the election is enthusiastic, Republicans are 68% more enthusiastic than Democrats are and 68% more likely to come out and vote.
Lizzo's pretty good at playing that flute, dude. You know about the Lizzo flute?
Oh, and in the terms of voter enthusiasm in these areas, it's 65% of registered voters are Republican. So I don't know, people. It's really an underhanded way of saying the Republicans are going to win without admitting to it. Democrats hate to admit they're going to lose. Nobody likes to lose. I mean, it's, who likes to lose? Losing's not fun.
See, she's out there all fat, and now she'll lose weight because she's wealthy, Have all the, that's when they do it because they hire all the personal trainers and all that, and then they have the chef making for all the diet food. That's what happened with Oprah until she fired that one chef that was making her all the diet food, and then she hired one that was making the fatty stuff again, putting a bar of butter and everything. But I don't know, obesity, is it attractive? I think that the person can be. But
what the hell is going on in Nevada? Unlikely Nevada results will be decided on election night in Senate or governor's race.
She was born in Detroit, Michigan, Joe.
Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit, I'll tell you, man, it's got some scary places. That 7 Mile. The police don't even go there at night. The police are told not to go there at night. Nice, huh?
Yeah, well, you can't blame them. Probably get your ass killed.
Yeah, you want to go home to your family if you're a cop. You don't want to get killed.
1 million voters have already voted for this election, Mike. 1 million have already voted.
Not me. Not yet.
Oh, Ukraine claims that Iran has supplied the Russians with 300 new drones. So that's what they're hitting them with, huh? See, that's what I was saying. I'd launch all 300 drones at Kiev. I'd just raise the city to
one
the
shot.
just one raise shot. The city to the ground, man.
Basically. Well, I mean, they have cruise missiles and they have all that stuff too.
Oh, wait, before, you know what? I got to say this before I forget. So quite a few Democrats are refusing to debate the Republican candidates because they don't want to debate them because all the Republicans are going to bring up is crime, immigration, and the economy.
Yeah, they don't want to talk about that. They got that from Joe Biden, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I mean, he didn't want to debate. He stayed in that basement. He stayed away.
Something else that's bothering me. I haven't seen hardly any reports about Tulsi Gabbard leaving the Democratic Party. I've seen the first day, like 3 news agencies, and nobody else wants to even talk about it.
Nobody wants to say a word. Nobody in the mainstream. Fox is, of course, because she's on there and she's talking to everybody. And I sent her my marriage proposal. I haven't heard back yet. She'll probably
Yes.
say no.
No, she said you were
Like
too old.
everybody else.
She said you were too old. She wanted somebody younger, but
Old? How old is she?
I don't know, but she said you were too old.
I'm a good age for her, man. Whatever she
No,
is.
she said you were too old, man. She wants something like 25. She wants like
Let me see.
Raul from, wherever.
I can be 25.
Yeah,
I can be whatever I want. It's
I can be
America.
25. Let's see. Alleged QAnon mastermind cancels his congressional campaign. Who?
Check.
Really? Like anybody who's going to vote for that idiot? Russia's airstrikes intended to show force reveals more.
Oh, she's 41, man. 40. She's 41, dude. She's right in the zone from where I am. They want the older guy who's emotionally stable. Not me, but the older guy who's emotionally stable. I haven't gotten to that emotionally stable part yet in my life. I'm trying. Or maybe I'm not.
I don't know.
Well, Joe, when we grew up, you're a little older than me, but we grew up in the same realm. And I hung out with older
man,
people.
I'm only like 49. What the hell are you talking about? You way older than me. You're
close older than 49.
You're like way older than me, man. Go ahead. I'm listening, Don.
We had the motto: sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That was all you needed. You didn't have cell phones. You didn't have not even beepers at that point. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So you work your job, you get your money, you go have your sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and you go back to work. So that was America. People got married, and they had kids, but still, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. Yeah. But now nobody has any sex anymore, or drugs, or rock and roll. The drugs are from Pfizer. The rock and roll is crap. Whatever it is, I don't know.
There's some good music, and I don't hate.
Name one good new band.
They got a couple of good bands here.
Don't give me that country music. Country music is not music; it's something else. But give me one. Good...
Next thing you're gonna tell me, rap's not music; it's something else.
Rap is rap. You know what? Country music, rap, it's in the categories of their own. I'm talking about good music, rock and roll, good music. Name one new band.
It's what do you mean named? The Jonas Brothers.
That's old. They're old.
They're not old. They're like from 2010 or something.
That's not even rock and roll, man.
Well, that ain't rock and roll. I have to agree with you.
You say Frank Zappa.
Wait, hold on. You're gonna make me forget this article. Suspect dragged carjacking victim to his death during police chase in Los Angeles at 30. So, I guess the guy was trying to get out of his car. The carjacker jumped in. He drugged the guy that owned the car and killed him.
Oh my God.
See, let me explain how this would have went down where I live, people. The carjacker would have approached my car and said, "Get out of my car," and you would have boom, boom. And guess what? I'd have drove up the street and called 911.
No, you jump out with that lightsaber and bug their brain out completely.
I ain't getting my lightsaber dirty. That's
Nobody's expecting a guy to jump out with a lightsaber. I'll say that right now.
I'm telling you, I was talking to a friend of mine. We're designing a real one, at least one that's supercharged from a taser, like 1,000,000 volts or something, so it can knock you in your ass real quick. We were trying to figure out how to do it without electrocuting ourselves while we were doing it. I got a bunch of friends.
You need an element that's going to bend the electric, so it's going to come out and come back, and then it needs to go out, 3 or 4 feet. You want something like that. 3 feet. That's perfect.
I don't know. The thing is, it's probably about 4 feet long. Looking at it behind me, oh wait, I lost my damn news feed. What the hell did I do?
36 inches, man. Average katana.
There it is. Huh? There it is. There it is. I lost my news feed. Ban on guns with serial numbers removed in unconstitutional U.S. judge. So now you can't go banning guns with serial numbers. I don't even know who thought that was a good idea.
The idiots in New York, because they're trying everything they can to circumvent. And they did. They got to stay on the, they made motions, this Letitia, the attorney general, against the handgun thing in the areas that are, the high crime areas where they don't want people to protect themselves, where you can get illegal guns anywhere, and they don't care about that. But now the synagogues are suing, saying that restricts Jewish people from owning these guns. They need to protect their synagogues. So right there, they'll get their way,
New York. Well, I know the Supreme Court's already lost them on special areas and stuff like that. They told them, no, you're not getting that. The only special areas they can get is like, anywhere there's alcohol served or hospitals or other
If I want
places
something
like
or
that.
if I don't want something, I tell them it's because of my religion. And they're not allowed to ask me my religion. So there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Even
Uh,
though I became
uh,
a Rastafarian many years ago.
I know. Huh? I was looking at this morning joke. This guy's such an idiot. AOC pressed on migrant arrivals borders crisis in town hall.
People
What are you
laugh at
gonna
it.
do about it? Oh man, this could cost her seat. They're on her hard, man. I don't think a Republican will get it, but they could cost her seat. Putin says no more need for massive airstrikes in the Ukraine. They've learned their lesson.
Well, we run out of missiles. I mean, they learned their lesson. Thank you.
We didn't run out of missiles. We ran out of guys to shoot the missiles. That
Basically,
sounds more like what really went
no,
on.
they just appointed that new general, the Armageddon, General Armageddon. They call him.
I don't. He's lost a buttload of generals. He's killed a couple of generals. 10 of them, or 8 of them, or 8 or 9 of them, been killed by the
They just keep disappearing.
Ukrainians because they keep using their own phones like idiots. And that's thanks to Elon Musk being able to let them use his stuff. But guys, y'all gonna have to start paying Elon if you want to keep using Starlink. You're gonna start paying a man. Which I think is cool that he did that. So he gave it to him for all his time. He said, "Okay, now pay me some money. You don't have to pay me back pay. Just start paying me
Congress
some
said
money."
that they would, but they lied. They don't want to pay anybody anything.
So wait a minute. Biden administration extends COVID public health emergency, but yet wasn't Biden on TV just like 2 weeks ago saying that COVID's over with? I'm
He said
confused.
COVID was gone.
Yes, that's what I thought he said. I was just making sure I heard correctly.
Yeah, he said it was over and done with and gone. And that's what he said.
Retreating
Now it's
Russian
back with a
troops are
vengeance.
arming Ukrainians with modern T-90 tanks as Putin army digs 60 years old armor out of storage.
There you go, getting the stuff out of the garage.
Yeah, he needs to get rid of all that crap anyway. Glad to be back. SpaceX captures
Bring me
Sky
my
4 astronauts.
Camaro.
I mean, NASA. Look, Elon makes you look like an idiot. Not just NASA.
It's embarrassing.
Jeff Bezos, your boy from whatchamacallit,
Anybody
Russia, China,
in
India.
private,
I mean, this guy is
anybody in
making you
private
look like
industry,
idiots. Anybody in any industry is in space. He makes look. India's got a way bigger budget than he does. U.S. got a way bigger budget than he does. China's got a way bigger budget than he does. And guess what? He makes you look like morons. The guy's launching 2 a time a day. He's bringing them back. He's landing them. I mean, Jesus. He put his big one in space. He brought it back. I mean, guys, and he has NASA been trying to launch this rocket for how long now? 4 months. He can't even get it off the ground.
Didn't they have mice? They had mice at one
I don't know. That whole thing is a mess, man.
Had cockroaches. They had to clear them out, man. It was messed up.
It's the whole thing is just crazy. Russia fleeing draft sailing yachts to South Korea. Oh, Russians leaving and going to South Korea.
Russians are getting out and going anywhere they
Yeah.
can, and nobody wants them either, by the way. Like Georgia, they're kind of pissed because there's the Georgian leader who said, oh, that was Chechnyan leader that said they should nuke the Ukraine. But the Georgian leader is the same thing. I mean, these people, they think the Russians are cowards because they have business to take care of in their own country and they're leaving. It's going to tilt the scale now in Georgia because now there's that huge influx of Russians. They're applying for citizenship and then jobs, so it's going to change their whole economy for what the Georgians do.
So Biden Joe says prices too high as inflation rises before midterms. Biden warns prices will rise if Republicans win in the midterm elections. Biden, do you not know how much everything's going up? It's gas. The other day I listened to him when TV's going on and on about gas going down. Gas went up 35 cents that week. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Well, and now they're saying for the next 3 weeks everything's going to be going up weekly.
OPEC is cutting production. They're screwing us hard, And if Trump was in there, this would never have happened because he had deals with the Saudi Arabia and those other countries, But that's if we made our own and we drilled our own and we had our own, we wouldn't need to rely on anybody.
So then even the Democrats got confused because come to find out, U.S. is still the number one producer of oil as it is right now, but we're exporting it. Excuse me? We're doing what? We're using our reserves and escorting what we're taking out the ground. What the?
Why doesn't Biden just use his senility and his lack of cognitive ability and say to Saudi Arabia or just even Dubai, you guys don't have nukes, do you? Oh, really? But we do, right in your area. if you cut production, we're going to consider that an act of war, and we're going to blow the crap out of you, everything we got. I mean, like, you know what? Be tough, man. Talk
But that
tough.
ain't how it would have been. Trump would have called he would have flew over and met the Kings. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? I need you to raise oil production. Price is too high in my country. We got this big deal with you with military arms and stuff because we have a big
No,
arms
he
deal
wouldn't have
with
said that. He would have went in there and he would have said, oil, the price, no good.
That's what I'm saying.
That's all. That's exactly what he would have said. Oil, the price, no good.
Because Trump was making a huge military deal with them, and we still are. But Biden could use that, but he still had. Yeah, seen that. Mike Lindell went to Florida and distributed 12,000 pillows for hurricane relief. Go, Mike. Yeah, 12,000 pillows. So that's a big write-off.
He's trying anything. He's trying not to get sued like that other idiot's got to pay nearly $1 billion.
Oh, wait. So wait, I think NATO just released his what's the state of Russian missile arsenal. So let's see if they give us anything good to read here. Let's see. Come on, give us something. We seen the old one from earlier today. We were talking about it. It's not saying. It is saying that China might give him some missiles. I don't know how the U.S. is going to like that or not.
Trying to give us some missiles. They won't be
Not
embarrassed
us.
when their stuff gets knocked out or falls out of the sky. Yeah.
I think that's why China hasn't been wanting to give anything because they don't want to look ineffective like when Russia was giving all that stuff to Iraq and we were just blowing it out like it wasn't even there. And they had state-of-the-art anti-aircraft systems there, and they didn't even know existed. The KH-55 and the KH-01 cruise missiles, 5 strategic bombers, sea launch, blah, blah, blah. They're not giving numbers, though. They're just telling us what kind of missiles they have. They're not giving no numbers, though. Look at that.
Biden claims that $7 gas has always been the case in California.
Look, like I've been in California a couple of times now. I haven't seen $7 gas there, so I don't know what he's talking about. He's on crack. He's definitely on crack. Ukraine armed forces killed 500 Russian soldiers and destroyed 17 UAVs on October 13th. Damn, go for it. See, I don't even know how to do it. If I was the Russian command, I'd have put 50 tanks together and just started rolling over them. And every time somebody launched a missile, I'd kill them. I was like, Jesus, enough's enough. Yeah, Texas certifies Martha Vineyard illegal immigrants as victims of crime to get special visas. That's courtesy of the governor. Oh, Lord, I don't know what we're going to do about that. All right, let's see. So, wait, I just was reading about
Rainbow crisis flows right over the border, coming right over the border.
Wait a minute here. What's going on here? Former German Chancellor Merkel defends her government's move to buy massive amounts of Russian gas, saying she has no regrets as it was right for her for the time.
So what do you think about that idiot, man? That $1 billion now because he said,
"Oh man, what the hell?" Now all of a sudden, the numbers is breaking up. It's an emergency. Red alert! Red alert! Red alert! What the hell?
Are you phasing out, man? I think you're phasing out.
I was phasing and then you were phasing. It's weird. First I heard me breaking up, and then I heard you breaking up. I don't know what.
Red alert.
That was just weirdness. Yeah, I was reading about Merkel, German Chancellor Merkel, former, and she was saying she has no regrets about buying massive amounts of gas from Russia at the time. It was the right thing to do.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't because you're paying for this war, you dumb bitch. Yeah, but I mean, what did she not realize?
So she'll never. And now they're going to go through a crisis through the winter and not have enough fuel. These people are going to freeze their asses off, man, and it's going to be ugly, ugly, ugly all day long.
So because of her 35% of the fuel, yeah, because of her crappy decision, and they were getting 35% of their fuel from Russia. You know how much money they were giving Russia? That's why Russia don't want this war to go on no more. They ain't got that money no more.
Trump told them not to. Trump said, "Don't do this."
So think about it. Russia lost a lot of that money. What's paying for this war now?
Yeah.
Almost 30 occupiers lay down their arms and leave their positions
Terrible,
near
you know.
Crimea. Crimea, is
But
that what
that's
it's
the
called?
world. There's no. It's hard. It's a hard place. Uh, you're
What?
cutting out, man.
I wasn't saying that you were cutting out. I just was being quiet to see which one of us was cutting out. It's
No, I'm
I don't know.
listening to you, and you're like,
We're getting close.
like two old guys. You know, are you awake
Yeah,
still,
well, we're
or
getting close.
Roy,
Yeah,
are you
yeah,
awake?
yeah, 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 we're getting U.S. firepower showcase in Philippine joint combat drills. Looks like some badass shit going on there.
Alex Jones, that's the idiot.
Oh wait, I didn't know this. Putin tried for years to stop his military from using Western parts and mostly failed. So a lot of his equipment needs our parts.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
Poor
said
dude.
earlier. The parts, chips, all kinds of stuff. You know. So I mean, they're not really gonna fare well. So
China
so
faces
what do you think
prolonged
about the
period of lower growth.
Sandy Hook families winning $1 billion from Alex Jones? $1 billion.
Well, first off, is he going to pay it or is he going to file bankruptcy?
Well, he doesn't have $1 billion, so he's what he is.
So that means he's got to file bankruptcy,
He
which means they're
doesn't
not going to get anything.
he doesn't have much. Well, taxpayers will bail out at that rate. Though they could take his house, they could take what he owns. I mean, they could liquidate all that stuff. Maybe his My Pillow buddy will give him a job, man. It's a My Pillow factory. You know what I mean?
Well,
But I mean,
you know,
but
there's rules
we're in
about
we're in broadcasting, and
yeah.
you know what the guy did was wrong, saying the shooting was a hoax and all that, and all it did was bring a lot of pain
You
among those
know,
people.
my problem with that is he wasn't the only one saying it. There was lots of other people saying it. There was lots of people on Facebook saying it everywhere else.
I guess they're going to go after them too. I mean,
Well, they ain't got no money, so it don't
but
matter.
he had somewhat of a following of freaks. You know what I mean? You know, and he said what he said. I mean, you're responsible for what you say. I believe in that. You know, I believe in that. I don't say crazy, stupid things that are going to get me in trouble because I say what I believe in. So you know, the guy, I don't know what his whole deal was with. It was you know, fake or whatever.
They're saying he's worth anywhere from 5 million to 270 million,
Well,
depending on whose estimate you want to
he
take.
he better open up a freaking lemonade stand.
They said that there's no billion going to get paid. He's going to file bankruptcy, and by law, they have to leave you with X amount of money. They have to leave you with a home, a car. There's a couple of things they got to do. So,
Sort of a home, not if you have a mansion and you
well,
all
not if
this
you got a
money.
man, they can make you sell that.
They can sue him for all these assets. It's come down to the individual lawsuits. They can sue him for all these assets. It's up to now. They got a judgment, so it's up to whoever's going to seize his stuff. Really,
Yeah, and that's hard to do. That's a hard thing to get done.
not with the sheriff's department. I mean, they
No,
show
if you
up
got
and
good lawyers, it's a hard thing to get done. You
I don't
can't
think
just
he has
come
good
see.
lawyers.
I imagine.
I
I
don't think
imagine
with that judgment, he's got good lawyers.
he was getting that judgment no matter who he had for a lawyer.
He should
That
have
was
put
just
on some high heels and said he was a transvestite. And why are you harassing me? I'm Alexa Jones. Alexa. Then he could
well, and
sue
that's the thing.
Alexa.
So he's already in a hook for the parents of Jesse Lewis, who sued separately. They got 49 million. They're going to get their money. These other people aren't going to get their money though. He's going to file bankruptcy and putting all of his employees out in the street and all. So they're going to have some issues here. If he's worth 200 million, he'll probably get to keep about 50 of that, and about 150 will go out to everybody else, and that'll be the end of that. It'll because if he's got a company that's supporting a bunch of people, most judges aren't going to let you in the company to pay out on something that isn't going to. These people's lives were already changed. They already have their careers. This is just giving them money for giving the sake of giving them money. So a lot of times the judges won't do that. They'll just say, okay, you got this much. And besides that, what is there? 10 families at $100 million? That's a lot of money. You're being greedy after that point.
A lot of families, not just 10.
And this,
I
they still haven't
know. I
even.
knew. You know what? I knew one of the teachers. This guy. He's actually my friend's brother, and I had seen him right after that. He came, came upstate to hang out, and just the way he described it, and the kids, how great these kids were. That he's never going to see them again, and all other teachers, people. I mean, just the impact of the reality of the violence is lost on an idiot like Joan. This with Oprah, he was another version of Rush Limbaugh, but much much lower and worse. If you can even
Oh yeah,
imagine that,
yeah. So
Rush
there was.
Limbaugh started. That's kind of that idiotic type of thing, But
So there were 8 families, and they're each going to get $100 and something million each. And the ninth family is going to get $49 million each.
How
First
about
off,
10
that's
signs?
ridiculously greedy.
10 sure
That's
signs that you're a bitch, Joe.
a witch. I'm sweet and innocent. I don't know what you're talking about.
Joe, are we bitches?
No,
Number 3 is you're constantly correcting people.
no, that's called
You're
being
always
the
constantly
boss.
correcting people.
It's because
I
I'm the
think it's
boss. That's
bitchy.
why.
I think we're bitches,
No, that's
man.
the boss, man. When you're the
You
boss, you
take
always
secret
correct people.
joy in others' misfortunes, even your own friends. I don't do that.
Nah, I don't do that either. That's just
You're the
shitty.
false compliment queen. That's me.
If I
I
give you
like
a
making people
compliment, it's
feel
a
good,
no.
even if I'm lying. Friends joke that you have a resting bitch face, but they're 100% serious.
That's
Number 5, you keep scandalous evidence, just not your own. I think we're bitches, Joe.
we bitches that are
Number
getting
6,
out
your
of here
friends
because we
are
got to
afraid.
go.
Your
Go finish.
friends are afraid of you. We're definitely bitches.
My
Number
friends ain't
7,
afraid of
check
me.
your
My friends
emojis.
love me,
One way
man.
to see what kind of bitch you are is being a checklist of recently used emojis. Sweet girl emojis include a smile, winky face, hearts,
I'm not a
kissy
big
face,
emoji
cherries.
fan. I got to be
But
honest, man. I'm not a big fan of emojis.
well, the bitch, her top. See, it says her. It should be. That could be anybody, male, female. I think we can apply that both. But would be nail polish, glass of wine, party favor, a girl with her hand up, like yeah, whatever. Number 8, your boyfriend's friends don't want to hang out with you. I had friends that were like that. Oh my God, they had their girls and they're the worst pills to hang out with. Nobody wanted them around. Then the girls were like, your friends don't like me. Your friends don't like me.
All my friends love me. What can I say?
And then you don't see the guy again until they break up. And then you were like, dude, she was a bitch. And he was like, I know.
Okay.
Bros
Mike,
before
Mike's on
friends.
much better drugs than I'm on. That's all I can tell y'all, people. I
You're
don't know. I don't know
extremely
what to tell you.
competitive if you're a bitch, apparently.
Probably so. I would
And
think so
number
for the
10,
most part.
you're a boyfriend stealer. Ooh.
Okay, here we go.
Steal
All
that
right,
boyfriend.
real
That
quick before
Dennis
we go.
Rodman looking so fine. So
Uh,
fine.
so real quick before we run, I've been going through the polls while Mike's doing his top 10, and so most of the polls, with the
Poor
exception of
Dennis.
3 from Real Queer Politics and all them, and what is it, 128 or whatever they call themselves, the majority of polls favor the Republicans now by about 3 points. And while I was looking, I noticed I found quite a few of these articles now. This is from the Washington Post. Midterm polls swing back to the right. You're seeing these all over the place. The Republicans in their NBC and ABC and CBS can try to say whatever they want, but personally, I think it should be illegal for politics to try to sway a poll. All they should be able to do is let the candidates come on and question the candidates. Really and truly, their opinions matter not at all. But that's where we are, because I was listening to one of the hosts the other night on CNN. I'm not CNN, NBC, going on and on about Facebook and Instagram and all them swaying elections. I'm thinking, more, and that's what you're trying to do right now. You're trying to use your influence, whatever, to try to sway an election. And Clara, to what you wrote me earlier about abortion and women. Okay, first off, religious women are anti-abortion, and that's about 50% of the women in our country, in case you didn't know that. All right, so that's, and then out of the other 50% that are left, a lot of them are not pro full abortion. If you ask Americans, there's been several polls done on this. 90% of I'm sorry, 88% of Americans agree that abortion should not be used as birth control and there should be severe limitations. So when you see a Democrat on TV saying, "Oh, everybody's for them," no, that's a lie. That's not true. And you should always check the facts yourself because that's just an outright lie. The majority of Americans are not for using abortions as birth control. They're just not. We don't think we should be murdering 55 million
You know
babies in
what?
25 years.
What a big part of it is, it hurts the poor community because most of those guys are the ones having the abortions, especially minorities. And when you look at black people in the U.S., the numbers are going down all the time, and the whole sense of family has been blown away, especially up north. Not as much in the south, but in the north and California, places like that. I think that they've been separated from that family community, but like, look at Mississippi, look at Louisiana or Georgia. You still have large black families that are still family units together. You know what I mean? And it's a whole different mentality, isn't it? When it's like that. So I don't know, man. A lot of questions have to be answered, and they're not pretty questions either. Like the Green Goblins when they let these girls go, so they can go out and do their business. And like when you have girls who call themselves Green Goblins, they take pride in going to the subway, beating people up. These young, unsuspecting women that are kind of just going from one place to the other. You can't have that. You can't have the lawlessness that's going on in New York City and Chicago, other places too, but very big in New York and Chicago. But people are going to fight back. People are going to stand up to it, or the rest of them are going to move away, right? And New York City's taking a big hit. Businesses left. They don't want to come back. The people don't want to go back to the office. A lot of those businesses left. Chicago, a lot of businesses are leaving. These big, huge businesses with thousands of white collar jobs are leaving, right? What do you do then when you deplete that city of all of its money? What keeps it running? It's gonna, not gonna bode well. And I'll tell you, Joe, these girls that did this, they said that they lived in the Queensboro projects, one of the most notorious, horrible projects that they are. So it's no wonder that they have no respect for anybody else. And this is something that New York City runs. It's something that the politicians, run. It's something that they can fix. But the crime that goes on there, the rats, the cockroaches, all the terrible stuff, the drug dealing, the murders, they don't care. It's always been like that, and the politicians don't care. But their answer is to let people go with no bail. It doesn't make any sense.
I know. The no bail thing is I just don't get it.
Who are
I
they
guess
helping?
because I think part of it is the fact that they get so many people in jail that are just easy to let go, but they didn't have money to get out. I think this was an effort to try to fix that, but they should judge it by the crime, not by just
This
let. I
is
mean, this is stupid what they're doing right now.
this is DA Bragg, who got in with George Soros money. There was no hiding those facts. That Soros had done this to a lot of places, had put these DAs in to let people go. So I don't know. I don't view it as a positive thing. And
It's not a positive thing. It's
my mom taught me
garbage.
the golden rule, and also about self-respect. And you don't go out there and be some scummy criminal, and hurt other people. It's just it's terrible. But that's what's going. It's getting worse. It's getting worse.
It
Not
is. It
better.
is. So I'm on 538. They also agree with what Clear Politics just said, and the Post and the New York Times said that the Republicans are definitely taking the House. It's the Democrats should take the Senate, but there is a chance that the Republicans could take both because there's not enough swing seats in the Senate. Like if Herschel takes it, that's taking a red one, a blue one back, and there's
I
one
just
other.
haven't seen much from the Republicans, honestly. And they need to step up their game in getting the message out in the proper way, not even by ranting or anything like that. But
Well, what they're doing is in the places they know they're going to win, they're not worrying about it. But in the places where they're not, they're dumping tons of money. I've seen some ads the other day. Like when I was traveling out west, I've seen lots of Republican ads. I haven't seen any here at all, none at all. But when I was traveling, I was seeing it out there easy. So this is NBC News. Also thinks the Republicans are going to take the House. They're not even sure. And right now, they're saying that NBC saying Republicans may take the Senate at 51 votes. They're saying it's there's a couple of just elections that nobody can call right now in Georgia, in Pennsylvania, Arizona, Wisconsin, and Nevada. Any one of those could go the opposite way, so they're not willing to call it outright.
Nevada, Colorado, all those states have a lot of large influx from California the last few years.
Yeah, they have.
So,
That's
so
why
a
they're so
lot of
close now.
Democrats, they're spreading. Yeah, they're turning purple.
Yes, but a lot of those Democrats are voting red, so that's a plus. I've been noticing more and more that a lot of the Democrats are voting red because they're tired of. They're like Tulsi Gabbard. They're just tired.
Well, did you see AOC get knocked back by those two guys? I mean, she was talking to this group of people, and then they let her have it about everything that she's a fake and she doesn't care about people and whatever, and she had to really defend herself. We don't get to see that a lot of these politicians because they're sort of inaccessible. I mean, Joe Biden's only done a couple of interviews since he's taken over, really sit down interviews, and it's always with these subversives. He'll never sit down with Sean Hannity. You know what I mean? Even though I don't like Sean Hannity at all, but I'm saying that that's kind of their answer to, Jake Tapper or whatever the hell they got over there at CNN. So it's a mess. It's a mess, and it's a clown show every day. I look at it. I've got my own problems though, as people do. So we still have to survive every day in our own lives, and then you see what's going on out there and how it's going to ultimately affect us. So, OPEC making those cuts is going to make gas go right back up again, higher and higher and higher. And there's no solution. Biden's solution is keep tapping the reserves. We need those reserves. You're not really supposed to do that unless it's a time of war.
He better get some, because if they hit $4 a gallon before the midterm election itself, they're going to lose in a major landslide.
Maybe OPEC's doing it on purpose so it does get there to kind of ring home.
Well, the Middle East prefers when we got conservatives in. They're easier to deal with.
They need to deal with us because Saudi Arabia, those guys, they fear Iran. Iran, if it gets stronger, but now who knows what's going to happen there? They'll knock back the protests. They're going to knock them off just like they did before, and no one's going to do anything about it.
But I've been hearing too that Iran, because of the last few wars and a few other things that's been going on, have overstretched themselves, so they may be in trouble.
I think eventually theocracies fall because the people get educated,
Yeah, they get educated.
If the people are educated, then you can't fool them with all the mystical and magic and all the crap that they push at them about their religion, because you start realizing what religion is all about. Much of religion is this spin from original text that they say is original text that they don't really know where it came from and that type of thing. But we can judge people by their actions and what they do. You are what you do. And what country it is and how they treat their animals, how they treat their people, how they run their system. We can judge on that and do that happily. So Iran is not a good place.
I know Iran. I don't know where I just looked at the polls while we were talking, and so in the Senate, Republicans are actually losing, but they're only 2% behind anybody, with the exception of one. There's no way they're going to win. It's like 36 to whatever, 54, but. All the rest of them, they're within 2 points. That's why I already scared the thing, because 2 points, ladies and gentlemen, are within the 3.5 point margin of error, which means that it could be 2 points the other way. So nobody's winning. And judging from the last two elections, we've learned that polls cannot be trusted. Not small polls, anyway. You need much bigger polls. But we got to get out of here. I was hoping we'd get to see Crazy Jay tonight, but he's off taming the world. I see how Kamala Harris's approval rating still somewhere in the 28%. Somebody keeps trying to tell me that Joe Biden's approval rating is like 50%. I'm like, son, you're on crack. I mean, really, people, where do you come up with this stuff?
They're making it up as they go along. That's what they're doing.
Well, I mean, but do you think anybody believes that? I can tell you now, right people and independents don't believe it. Y'all can say whatever you want, but if it's not a neutral poll, because most of the polls that say he's ahead are all NBC, ABC, CBS polls. The only reason they showed him below is because his numbers were so poor they didn't have a choice. So the
Democrats have less than 2 years to get somebody else to run.
This is Newsweek. They have him at, let's see, they have him at 42.2%. While 54% of Americans disapprove of him.
If Hillary runs independently and she challenges him at the convention, The convention people the delegates that she owns, can vote for anybody they want.
They can vote for
I
anybody
I
they
thought
want.
Bernie Sanders was going to contest it when she got to be the front runner because she had bought everybody, and the momentum was clearly behind Bernie.
Let's see. Reuters has him at 40%. So I don't know where they keep saying it's going up. It looks like he's going backwards to me. I'll look around while we're here because we're getting ready to roll out of here. This is at 31%. This is New York Post, but this is a couple weeks back. We don't care about a couple weeks back. This is October 5th. Had him at
What's the LA
43.
Times say? Let's look at the LA Times, man.
Let me see if I can find him. Joe Biden's latest approval rating. No, that's August. Yes, I don't know why Google don't take all this crap down.
I know, right?
Let's see.
Makes it hard to find things, that's for sure.
Well, it makes it hard to find what we're looking for, but let's see. October 14th. Let's see. Let's see. MSN has him at 40%. Here we go. This is the latest. This is October 13th. They have him at, this is 538 Politics, which is a little left leaning. They're 42%. That's the highest I can find so far is 42%. I can't find anything higher than that. But everybody keeps, who is this? U.S. President public approval rating this week is 41%. So I don't know, but I don't see anything above 42%. This says he's at 40%. This says he's at 40%. This got him at 39%. I'm not sure, guys, but maybe CNN or NBC has him higher than that. You can check. Let's see. No, CNN's got him at 43%. So no, 42.5. I'm sorry. It's not even 30. So really and truly, he's at, that's better than the 36 he was at, but I bet you if you go on some other sites that are more right leaning, you'll find it sitting at about 35, 34. So what you do is you take the 42 minus the break it out between the 36. He's probably sitting at around 39%. 38.
So Joe, check this out, right? Look, let's get away from that for 1 second. Here's his Los Angeles Times, big story. Young adults in California experiencing alarming rates of anxiety and depression. So I mean, these are people that you think that have it all because they're in a liberal paradise, right? So why are they so depressed? Why do they have so much anxiety? And why are they feeling all the strain of pain in this world? I mean, it's interesting, You know what?
The every level city there. That's
no, it's right here. The cost of housing, lack of health care, lack of decent paying jobs. I mean, this is why the young people are depressed, but this is what they've wrought. This is what they've wanted. This is what they do. And then they're pissed off because they thought life was going to be served to them on a silver platter. No, you got to work for things in this world. Huh?
Yeah, we do got to work for things in this world. You really do. Jennifer, I don't know. Y'all keep looking. If y'all see anything good, send it to me. I'll include it in the archive tomorrow. But I haven't seen anything that puts him at any.
Now, Hungary's going to poll citizens on support for the EU sanctions against Russia. So now the EU has a whole bunch of more sanctions, whether it's going to affect Russia or not, I think it does minimally, but I think enough of it hurts,
Well, all I can see is we're going to wait and see where all this ends up going because, frankly, a lot of this just seems like garbage out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just mean in general, it just
garbage.
And then when you type in like Joe Biden's approval rating, it really doesn't. It wants to give you a very limited pool to pull from.
Most people don't like him. Most Democrats don't like him. Most people don't like him. And Democrats are bite their tongue.
In the old days, the polls are pretty accurate, but they haven't been that accurate in a while now.
They know he's not going to go for another 4 years. They know that he's not going to have that longevity. It's just impossible the way he's acting, his cognitive breakdowns. He's messed up, and they're trying. As much as they try to mask it, you still see that he's surrounded by handlers and he's shaking hands with nobody and saying hello to dead people. I mean, there's a string of things. It's not just one gaffe or one incident. There's a whole bunch. He's Fruit Loops.
It tells you how Fruit Loop the state is. 59% of Californians approve of Joe Biden's job.
Are those the ones who have anxiety and
And
depression?
Kamala Harris's job. You just got to kind of go. Really? Are you living in the
She's
same
she.
country?
I thought she might have been a little intelligent with the jobs that she had, but man, she's like a blithering idiot. I can't believe how dopey she is. I really can't believe it. Like 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 I don't know. Some whatever happened to her at some point.
um,
Maybe she was never all together there to begin with, but man, it's embarrassing having these guys lead our country, no matter what party you believe in. It's just embarrassing.
let's see. Oh, Gallup said his highest approval rating was 57, and his lowest was 38. Yeah, right now they're not saying anything else. I notice a lot of these companies, these polling companies, don't want to put up uh, Joe Biden's approval rating so close to the election. It's
I think
almost like
people
they're
can
doing
look
it
in
on
their
purpose.
wallet, and I think they can look at the future of their country and decide for themselves what direction they want to go. Trump is too polarizing. I don't think that he's going to be a good choice at all. But I like DeSantis, and especially if he could team up with a Tulsi Gabbard or someone like that, I think that's win-win. He's proved himself to be a good leader. He cares about people. And he's not such a Republican either, man. He's kind of balanced. I don't find him to be ultra conservative. I find him he has conservative parts of him, yeah, but so do I. So do you. You
Well,
know,
everybody does in some way. Well, there's a lot of Democrats that are centralists, just like there's a lot of Republicans. That's what they really need, a centralist party.
isn't this
They
guy
come up.
Rhodes? He's a Rhodes scholar, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, I don't
DeSantis.
remember.
He went to Harvard, and he has a whole. He has a pretty long career, but
He's
I
a
think
good
he's
governor.
actually
I
a
know that.
decent. I think he's a decent guy.
He does.
And
He
I
is.
think he's a thinker, and I think he's tough enough to handle things. Even that hurricane was pretty devastating, and he's got things
Yeah, he's
together.
done a good job.
Yeah.
CNN said his approval rating's 41%, and they expect it to drop below 40% before the midterm election actually happens. So we'll see how that goes.
Uh,
But we got to go, guys. We're 21 minutes over. We're trying to
Another
get a
two
show.
years of Biden, I can't even imagine that. He won't make it.
Uh,
I don't. He's not going to make it. There's no way. No
it's
way.
scary, is what it is. It's it's
He's
it's
not going to
it's
make it.
it's
The
scary.
way
It's
he's messed up right now, they're going to have to put him. They'll have his brains in a jar.
yeah.
He's not going to
He
make it.
scares the hell out of me. He does. He scares me.
So
But
something's going to happen, whether they make it happen or whatever. You can't trust these politicians as far as you can throw them in. But damn, something will happen. I don't know. It's just I
well,
don't
they
have a
don't
good
want
feeling
anything to
about it.
happen to Biden because Kamala's even got less approval than Biden does.
All he has to do is have a stroke, something like that. And he's already had one a long time ago, didn't he? So
But this
I
is the
mean,
problem. If something happens to him and the country does whatever vote
she
of no
steps up.
confidence, yeah. But if they do a vote of no confidence, it goes to the House, and if the Republicans have the House, they just became president.
Something
So
happens to him, she steps up, and that's the scary part.
yeah,
Unless
but
they pay,
but she'll
they
get a
pay
vote of
her
no
off.
confidence from both sides.
Unless
She's
they
not
pay
going to
her off.
stay in. No, she's not
Yeah,
going to stay in. They'll do a vote of no confidence, which will give it to the Republicans because
it
they'll
would
have
take
control
a,
of the
I think
House.
an incredible long time, and they have to argue it out and hammer it
No,
out.
they
I
can
don't know,
argue that
man.
at all. It's not even a big thing. You take a
You're
vote.
talking like Jim Morrison said, the machine runs on glue and
So
tar.
if they get a 70% vote, she's out. There's nothing she can do about it. It's done. It's over with. Within 30 days of that date, she'll be out of office.
She could
That's just how it works.
go cackling back to California.
Yeah, but then that means whoever the Speaker of the House is becomes president. So if the
Nancy
Republicans have no, because
Pelosi.
Nancy won't be there anymore.
Well, it'd be a Republican if the Republicans can take
That's
over.
what I'm saying. So it's a risky game for them getting rid of Biden. They don't want
You
to
can't
get
have
rid of
that
Biden.
Mitch McConnell. Oh my God, what a nightmare.
Oh, jeez. I don't think he's going to get it this time. At least I hope not.
Well,
I hope he's
Paul
not.
Ryan. You remember that guy? I
Yeah.
mean,
There's Paul Ryan. There's Ted Cruz. There's other people. There's other
Paul
good
Ryan.
senators.
He didn't do the right thing.
Well, John Kennedy's going to run. He'd be good for the job too. He's an ass, so he'd be good for the job. Guys and girls, we're going to get y'all. Be sure to come check out Michael on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Check out me on
COVID-19.
Wednesdays and Fridays. And don't forget, we got Halloween coming up. We got a lot of weird stuff
What day
coming
is
up on the
Halloween
network.
fall?
Pay attention. All the archives will be up sometime tonight as I fiddle around with them because I'm going to get something to eat before I.
Ooh, Halloween's on a Monday.
A Monday. Is it on a Monday? Ooh,
Yep.
boo. Boo. I think Halloween should always be on a Saturday. Always.
That
Should be the
sucks.
last Saturday of
But
October.
people will celebrate the whole weekend, though.
Yeah, it should be the last Saturday of
They'll go
October.
trick or treating on Saturday. That's usually what we
Again,
do,
ladies
like,
and
when we
gentlemen,
were kids,
we are looking for a
back in the
female
day.
host for this particular show. I am talking with two right now, and hopefully one of them will be the person that we need.
You got to be able to keep up, though, man. It's a
Got to know your
competitive
politics.
environment.
And look, we don't have a problem with you reading or catching up with stuff on the web because a lot of articles, come and go, so it's easier to keep up with them that way. I stack up a lot of stuff on the side of the computer. But Mike and I usually talk about, about a lot of different stuff. So when we do that, it's easy to keep up. And, just you got to enjoy talking about politics.
And if she's bad, we call Michelle, and she crushes their nuts.
Well, they don't have nuts.
Crush
They
their
don't have
nuts.
nuts. There's nothing to crush,
The
man.
women we're going to have on will have nuts. Crush their nuts.
Oh, my God. No more drugs for Michael. Anyway, guys and girls, we got to get out of here. I hope all y'all enjoy and have a good night. Remember, next year, I want to win one of these podcast awards. Just running up shits for the birds, man. I mean, I like being a runner-up, but I want to win.
You got to put high heels on, man. That's the only time we're going to win.
Hey, look, I put the damn high heels on. I ain't got a problem with that.
Like, look at these two old transvestite guys.
Oh, my God.
Hey, why not, man? You
got to wear flats because you're already like 6'5", dude. So you got to wear flats no matter what.
I'm gender expansive, goddamn it.
With some spikes on, I'll be about 6'2" or 6'3" or something. So.
Brittany Griner's pretty tall, dude.
Oh, my God. See, he's not allowed to have drugs. Doing shows, he's just not. That's actually coffee, people. But anyway, on that note, good night. And coming up next is Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
Bye, y'all.
Friendly Canadian. Good night, everybody.